Hey, welcome back to Duff's Tavern. I am joined today by my supervisor, Robert, who I somehow convinced to come on this derelict of a podcast, and his friend, Andrew. And today we are having the drink Madras, I think. Is that how you say it? I don't know. But while I make it, y'all tell everyone about yourselves, I guess.
Go ahead, big guy.
Robert Doyle, met Liam a few years ago. We are co-workers. Been married for a long time, got a bunch of kids.
We haven't been married.
No, we haven't been married. Liam's not that lucky.
He would be though.
but that's about it for me.
Wow, you really set the bar high there, buddy. My name's Andrew. I've known Rob. We call him Dr. D on my end, not for nefarious purposes at all, but maybe we'll get into that story a little bit later on. I'm single, live on the road, play on the road, have many exotic stories about the road, fun stuff. I've known Rob for, 15, 20 years. I've known Liam for...
Couple months.
Yeah, a couple months, give or take.
Yeah. Feels like it's been forever.
No, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah, met you around Christmas time. I came with sweets, and then months later, when you came back, Robert invited me to Topgolf, and then I just trounced everyone.
Yeah, he didn't tell me I was top golfing against Adonis over here. It was pretty bad.
Wasn't the best of times at Topgolf.
Oh, it was good. Up till the shots started to fly, and I don't mean alcohol.
Till I hit the back of the net most of the times.
Yeah, I don't have that problem hitting the back of anything anyway, so we're good.
Short and to the right is my story.
Hey, man, I can do the tic-tac. That's about it.
What are we drinking there, Liam? What is that?
It's called a Maras, I think. It is vodka, orange juice, and cranberry juice.
Right up my alley.
Exactly. Because I couldn't do a vodka cranberry or a Cape Cod because I've run out of names and have done it twice on this thing.
People like vodka. It's easy to drink.
Yeah, I figured that much.
And it's actually Firefly vodka.
Firefly vodka.
Schwanky.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I had a Charleston White Point beforehand.
Well, I'll tell you.
That one.
Oh, look at that. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. Andrew bought me some Sweetgrass vodka. Andrew buys me weird vodkas every Christmas. And he got me some Sweetgrass vodka, which is the Renner guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah, the dude that vibe checked his wife with a 5.7.
Well, it is delicious. It's great vodka. But it gives me diarrhea every time I drink it. without fail. It tears my stomach up every time I drink it.
Cheers, y'all.
Shalom.
I haven't tried this before, so if it's bad, blame the app.
It's not bad.
Wonderful.
It's basically the best of a screwdriver and then a vodka
It tastes
cran
like
mixed.
grapefruit juice. Like it almost just tastes like drinking grapefruit juice. It doesn't taste like orange, cranberry, or vodka.
Yeah, it's got a pretty interesting aftertaste. So
It's good for the heat.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can polish a couple of these off.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, starting off, my dad actually had a question for you, Robert.
Oh, man.
Being from the glorious state of West Virginia.
Not from West Virginia. I'm from here, but I lived in West Virginia for a little while and have ties to West Virginia, family there.
Do you know what grocery feet are?
Grocery feet?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I don't know either, and he's asleep right now. He asked me to ask you that.
Oh, man, no. Well, now I'm curious. You should go wake him up. No. We'll converse with him. I need to know what that is, grocery feet.
Yeah, I'll put after the episode, this is a definition of grocery feet right here.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Right
I cannot.
There you go.
Somewhere.
Camera. Somewhere around here.
I'm not able to help with that, Lee. I'm sorry.
Being
Oh, well.
from the great state of West Virginia, you figured he would have been. But
Yeah. Sounds like a fake Mountie.
You see the denial in his face.
The O'Doyles are from West Virginia. First West Virginia question. Fuck.
Ruin my whole.
Well, for what it's worth, I was born in the great state of Iowa, so I can't say much,
Oh, you're born in corn.
Yeah, well, born around corn, in corn, maybe from corn, who the hell knows.
So are you corny is the question.
Absolutely.
I can tell a couple more jokes, and I'm sure we'll get a proof point here before too long.
Wait a little bit. So Robert, you and Andrew both love concerts, going live events and concerts.
Andrew is newer to it.
Yep.
Andrew has recently developed his love for concerts. But yes, my understanding is he enjoys them almost as much as I do now.
So, top 3 concerts each of you have been to.
Go ahead. This is your department here. I've only been to 3, so.
Oh, so easy top 3.
Yeah, it'd be easy top 3.
I've only been to 2.
Oh, there you go. So.
I've been to lots and lots and lots. I got to work at a venue for years, so I've got to see many, many shows. Top 3 Deftones would make the list. I'm not sure which one. Probably Myrtle Beach, right after White Pony came out. It's like their big album. It was a phenomenal time to see them. Slipknot in like 2000, 2001, early on in their career. Really good to see them. I can't think of a third one. You hit a couple in the night, my third.
You're good. I mean, like I said, I've only started to recently go. 2020 was actually my first one with old boy over here. That was a Star Set one where we did VIP, got to see the acoustic set and everything. That's probably top easily.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we did Sonic Temple. What was that, last year?
Last year.
A
little over a year ago because they just had one more. Since
then. So we did Sonic Temple, which Deftones or Foo Fighters were the headliners, but Deftones were there. There's a lot of great indie bands and stuff there. And then third one went local to the Coliseum and seen Megadeth and Lamb of God with the Old Man. That was great too. I actually got to experience it with the Old Man. So
yeah,
definitely learned to hate Lamb of God fans because they are awful beyond belief.
Why? Why so?
Well, we paid for VIP, and somebody came over to the VIP section that was obviously a Lamb of God fan and started to do a mosh pit behind me and the Old Man, and he literally had to stop me. I had a chair picked up over the head about to bash him, like WWF style. So
yeah,
Other
lovely
than that,
fans.
Yeah, well, it happens. But other than that, like I said, top 3 easily because I've only been to 3.
Yeah.
So
I've only been to 2. I went to my first one ever was Dropkick Murphys over at the Pack, and they were doing like an acoustic tour. I went with my dad, and then my only other one was when Wheeler Walker came in town. I took him to there.
That was an interesting show.
Imagine.
It wasn't what I was expecting, to say the least. And then it got weirder than I had planned it on being.
Yeah.
But it was a good show. I had a good time. It was fun.
Best thing is when me and Chad were yelling, "Fuck this job," and you were standing right there.
Yeah, I said I thought it was a personal attack that you asked your supervisor to go to a concert with you where the main thing was fuck the place you work and your boss.
You call it a personal it a personal attack. I call it a power move.
It's not like he walked behind you and smacked you on the ass or anything. I mean, come on,
You weren't there.
Well, yeah, you got a point. I would have sensed it in the force, man.
I did have 2 beers in my hand, so I couldn't do that.
Well, you could have done something with that beer, I'm just saying. A butt chug does get you a little drunker a lot quicker.
It does.
It was a very interesting show. I had a good time. I found some of the. I am not. I'm okay with bad jokes, bad humor, but I definitely wasn't expecting how deep the humor got. On it. It was pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Imagine.
I think when he played like redneck shit, that's the song that always gets everyone.
That's the one, yeah.
Because he says it so fast, it takes like the second chorus to be like, okay, what the fuck did he say?
Just register, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how I got my dad with it, because I showed him Wheeler Walker because he loves country music. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a little shithead. So I put like Wheeler Walker like in the cues. And then redneck shit came on, and it took like, he was like, oh, I like this. That was like really good country twang. And then he didn't hear the lyrics.
I did that with my my old man and Roger Allen Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Allen Wade wrote the song "If You're Gonna Be Dumb, You Gotta Be Tough" on the Jackass stuff. But he wrote a bunch of famous, like he wrote music for Johnny Cash and a bunch of famous musicians. But he liked to perform stupid, dirty songs.
Yeah.
So he released a couple albums, and they're great. Like I love them. But they are definitely rotten humor, and then my dad was like, yeah, I like that album. My stepmom was like, I loved it until I started listening to what he was saying, because it got a little racy.
And then I don't know if you've heard of Rodney Carrington. He's like,
I love Rodney Carrington.
Oh yeah, like that. I think that was the first like prop or comedy musician I've ever listened to.
I I actually reference one of his songs probably once or twice a week when he talks about "Don't Look Now, Mom's got her boobs out." You know that song?
Yeah.
Because my wife breastfeeds, so like all the time she's pulling her boob out at a restaurant or, and I'm referencing it. It's funny. I think it's funny.
That's how it goes from time to time. Yeah. So, hey, no hate on that.
Yeah. How long have you and Andrew been friends? Like,
It's well over 15 years, right? Like, I think I just had Robbie when we met.
Yeah.
Robbie's about to turn 16, so about 15, 16 years. Andrew hated me. We were not friends.
At all.
At all when we first met.
y'all got stories upon stories, is what I'm hearing.
That's an understatement.
Well, it was probably about a month before y'all started liking me at the store. I'll let you tell that story because you know you tell your end of it and I'll tell my end of it.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we used to work at a video game retail store we're named
Everyone knows who the hell it is. But, go ahead.
We'll let it remain nameless here, but
It's Gamefly.
yeah, there you go.
It's Game Go.
It was part of Blockbuster. It was Game Rush. Here I'll show my age. But yeah, so he came in and he was friends with the store manager at the time who, he's a fun guy to say the least anyway. That's a story.
He's a good dude.
Yes.
He's a good dude. He's not a bad guy.
Yes, until you hear some other stories, but we'll keep that for a different day. But,
Well, we're all bad guys if you hear the right stories.
yeah, you got a point. Yeah. Not that I've ever done that, but anyway, so
Yeah, I'm completely innocent. I'm a child of God.
he came in as a manager. Yeah, I had one of my buddies working with me, Donnie. We were all gonna climb in and get into that position one way or another, at least one of us, and he got hired on an outside position. So of course nobody could stand him when he came in.
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong
Except get hired.
Except for get hired.
Exactly.
And they turned the whole store against me that worked with me.
Not they.
You mean gamers are known to backstab people?
Just a little bit.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
It was so bad too, though, man. It's just like 16-year-old girls and shit, man. Like I'm getting like treated poorly by people.
For the
half my age.
podcast, I did not transition. I am still all man, and nor have I ever been a 16-year-old girl.
Allegedly.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, so we were doing a midnight, which I believe was a Call of Duty midnight.
Modern Warfare 2.
There you go. Clearly, you remember it better.
I remember it.
Oh, we still got pictures of
Dude,
that.
it was the biggest release up until that point. No media had released like it did.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest selling thing of all time was Michael Jackson Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 trampled Thriller. Like it beat all records of anything sold like that.
Yeah, I remember all the commercials for it because I was
Too young to play.
I'm trying to think. What year did it come out?
Oh, God, this been early 2000s.
Okay, so I was like in
Maybe mid to late 2000s, somewhere in the,
Okay, so I was either like
420.
elementary or middle school at that time. It was elementary. I was in elementary at that time when it released. But yeah, I remember like Call of Duty lobbies. Like that's what I grew up on, and I got into Modern Warfare 3 before Modern Warfare 2, and like it took so much to buy Modern Warfare 3 because of the Remember No Russian mission. That is it.
Oh, yeah.
So we did that midnight release, and afterwards he decided, hey, let's take everybody out for some drinks. So we went to Smoky Bones.
Directly behind our store. Like we literally left our cars parked in the parking lot.
Yep, walked around. And
Because
then,
our midnight was efficient. We had sold, it was like 250 copies that night, and we were done within 30 minutes.
yeah, so,
Like we had everybody in and out, and like it was a big deal. With the Red Bull girls were there.
Yep.
We had Pizza Hut and Chuck E. Cheese had brought
Yeah.
pizza over. We had the Army in our parking lot with a Humvee and a TV in it, so people could play Call of Duty before it came out in our parking lot. Like it was huge.
And then we had a bunch of TVs brought over from H.H. Gregg, who isn't there anymore.
Yeah, we like cross promotion with a bunch of other stores.
Yeah.
And like it was just, we had the whole parking lot full. It was a huge party from 9:30 until like 12 o'clock. And then from 12 to 12:30, we got rid of 250 copies and got everybody the fuck out of there.
Yep.
And we were at the bar by 12:30 drinking.
Exactly. And then we had my other buddy Rico, who was my roommate at the time, come down and meet us there too. And like I said, we sat down at the bar, started to drink, bullshit, and realized we had more in common than, I was led to believe. And, started a blossom of friendship,
We've been friends ever since.
Exactly. And I'm the only one that still talks to him out of that group anyway.
Yeah, you and Donnie. I still talk to Donnie every once in a while. Everybody's still good people.
Oh, yeah.
No ill will towards anybody.
Yeah.
Hell, one of them, I don't even know if they're still alive anymore.
Oh, God, yeah.
He was old as shit. He was awesome.
Oh, yeah. A little decrepit, though.
He was a little crypt creeperish that long ago, so.
And he never used a senior citizen discount for us.
Oof.
I'm telling you, it was rough.
I loved him, man, because he could say all the stuff to customers I couldn't. Because, like, he would just be cold-blooded and the stuff he would say. And I remember they tried to get us to fire him, like, numerous times. And it was just like, nah, man, he's like one of the best employees I got. He's one of the best employees we got. Like, how are we going to let him go? It's like, how about I just not let him deal with customers? How about he does everything but deal with customers? And that's what we had him do.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Well,
But it's basically you need.
You didn't like him that much?
Oh, no, I loved working with him.
Okay.
I did the same thing.
Okay.
So he basically was a goon at the store. Like when shit got sideways, that's when you'd send him in.
No, you didn't have to send him in. He, like, lived for it.
Exactly. He was retired. He was doing it just to do it.
He was doing it just for the discount on games.
Yeah,
That's
and
the only reason he was
ex-military,
there.
too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
He had no
cold-blooded.
fucks left to give.
That's a dangerous thing with the retired people because they don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Hey, super cool dude. Like, I don't want to mention his name. We might should because we're saying good things about him because he was awesome. He was really rad. And I remember they tried to let him go numerous times.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
just
but
like, no way, man.
Neither one
He's
of us
awesome.
were fine. Well, he outlasted me, so I can't say much.
I mean, he was there after I left.
That's what I was saying. He outlasted us both.
I didn't leave that place on good terms. I wasn't.
No, you left on better terms than I did. Yeah, we won't mention that.
It happens.
I mean, I've always had beef with that store, in general, because I brought in like a giant thing of PlayStation 2 games because the PS3 came out and I had so many PS2 games saved up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start getting some PlayStation 3 games, and it was like, no, we can give you like $50 for this like 6+ year collection of video games. It's like, fuck you. I should have just kept the PlayStation 2. I was young and dumb at the time.
They were a businessman, and they didn't. The customers wasn't forefront. It was money. Mm-hmm. But at least when we worked there, games were still forefront.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean,
It's
you
just
go in.
merch.
Yeah, 90% of it is merch.
Or you walk in there for a Steam card, which is the biggest slap in the face.
What I hate is like they don't even know like their own policies. Like so many of their policies are still the same, and if you go in and you ask a question, they don't know. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if I look, it's the same as it was when I was there, and it's something that like I would use to sell things. You know, you buy refurbished because you get a warranty on it for a year. That's why you buy a refurbished system, not a used system, right? Mm-hmm. I go in and ask, and the lady's like, "No, we don't do that. We don't ever do that. We've never done it." And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Then why would I buy a refurbished than a used? Like, what would be the purpose if it's the same price?" And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she could not tell me, and I swear, like I was talking to her, and I turned, and there was a sign behind my head that said it. And I remember looking, and they lost like probably a couple $100 sale that evening because I was trying to buy my son a new system and some games and stuff. And that was probably the last time I really went there and shopped. I was just like, man, they don't know what they're talking about. I'd just rather order it.
The last time I would go in there, I sold my like PlayStation 4. And then after that, I would just see if they have cool Funko Pops there. That's about it.
See, our store was so weird because we were the last one that did retro. So we were the only store that still had GameCube games and PS2 games.
Yeah. And
then we would get harped on because we weren't selling Game Informer subscriptions.
Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah, it's GameStop. But because we wouldn't sell the subscriptions, and it's like, well, dude, we got people coming in, and all they're buying are $3-4 games. Mm-hmm. It's like it's hard to sell that when they're going to save 40 cents. That's what they're going to save if they spend 15 extra today. Well, it's a hard sale, man.
Even part of that, we're right across from a Chuck E. Cheese where most of our clientele are also buying, 99-cent Madden 2002. Yeah. How are you going to sell a $15 subscription to somebody that's buying a 99-cent game?
Yeah.
You'll save 10 cents.
But we got inundated with used stuff because we were the only people that took it. So we had this massive backlog of stuff that we always had to do. And then we weren't making any money because everything we were selling was $5, $4.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so fun
But
stuff.
I'm glad to see that the stock market is riding them really hard right now and doing well for GameStop.
It is just a meme stock that is it is propped up by it's like something rainbow or like something kitten. I forget the person's name, but yeah, he was on the GameStonk documentary. I had a little bit of money in it for a while.
Old name.
Yeah.
GameStop.
GameStonk. Yeah, I have the game. Was it Old Row shirt of like the diamond hands, where you have like the billionaire with the diamond hands and the game stock. Like I have that. I wear it around town, and everyone's like, "Dude, that shirt is fucking awesome."
That's rad.
It was like a weird time in 2020 because that happened along with everyone like having to mask up and just a whole bunch. It was. Let's all learn how to make banana bread, and we're gonna be inside for 2 weeks, and then chaos, and then there's a warlord in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like it, I don't know who was writing the script for that year, but they were definitely on something.
It was interesting year. But you know what? Next year could be just as interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it's been a turning point since 2016 after the death of Harambe. Like everyone agrees.
That was the downfall of everything.
No, I'm sorry. The death of Harambe didn't bring it out. It was Dicks Out for Harambe that really brought out the weirdos. You know, not that I took participation.
Sure.
I definitely don't have that on a Spotify playlist.
People don't search for it. Just don't.
Nope, not at all. Also, do not search for Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life.
I got burned by that. It tells my age a lot. That one burned me really bad. And dude, we were having a barbecue one day, and my sister was like 16 at the time, and she was like, "Blue waffles are delicious." And I was like, "What?" And it threw me through this loop, and then I Googled it, and I've never felt so ashamed in my life.
She missed an opportunity. It's like you were out grilling like some hot dogs, and she would like spin it. She's like, "Look, it's a meat spin."
Exactly.
It was but she played it really well. It was one of the good times she
If
got
she'd
me.
have walked up and been holding a jar and told you to go horseback riding, you know, I'm just saying, you know.
She was awfully handsy that day.
Hey,
I know. It would have shattered your emotions, I'm sure. Oh, the innuendos.
if there was ever a time you've seen the soul leave somebody's body, it was in that one.
Oh yeah.
The hands one, like
Oh god. He was a Boeing engineer too.
seems about right.
Yeah.
Engineers are some weird birds, man.
No, I'm surprised he didn't work for Glock because you know Glock's other company is horse semen. Horse insemination is what their other part of the company is for.
See, man, he was just crossing the bridge.
Well, now, see,
All
listeners,
Glock does is just dealing loads.
now you know why all the planes are falling apart right now. Is because the Boeing engineers aren't focused on aviation. They're focused on other weird shit.
Yeah. I mean, they're engineers. What do you expect?
Yeah, you get a point.
Yeah, they're not all sane in the head.
Yeah, a little insertion here, a little desertion
Yeah,
there.
it's just like a lot of the IT guys are furries.
I have been my two main careers in my lifetime. I've worked very closely with engineers, and they are definitely a weird group of people.
You mentioned furries.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring up this story. This is
Oh,
actually
no.
a pretty good one.
Oh no!
No, you're good. You're good. So, a couple years back, my niece wanted a set of ears, and she's 10. I think she was 10 or 9 at the time. She wanted a set of ears, and like she was going through a phase where she liked to dress up as certain animals and stuff. And she shot me a message one day. She's like, "Hey, can you buy me this stuff off Amazon?" I'm like, "Okay, sure. Let me look at it." So I pulled it up off Amazon. Nothing weird. I'm like, "All right, well, I'll send you the money. Get your dad to buy it." So unbeknownst to him, she went on there and put it in his cart. But she had gone to the dark side of Amazon. And the tail she wanted was not age appropriate.
Oh no!
It had a little extra insertion on it.
It didn't have a buckle on it.
So yeah,
It had a flared base.
yeah. So after my brother had to explain to her why she was not getting the tail, I got a phone call from her saying that adults were messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why she felt the need to call me about it, but you know.
Because you were one of the adults assisting in her message.
Apparently, whoa, hey, I didn't purchase nothing.
Hey, cat got his tongue.
Well, something got it.
Oh man!
As long as it didn't have anything else, we're good.
But you know what, man? When I was in high school, we're talking, 98, 99, stuff like that. There was girls
Right when I
walking-
was born.
but people walked. There was girls that walked around meowing.
Girls meowing every day.
They would walk around and meow and hiss at you and stuff. Like
What school were you going to?
Stratford.
Good God.
Awful school,
Stratford
Stratford.
Animal Center.
I spent 4 years in high school and they never meowed at me.
You
No,
went
we had a
to
lot-
you went to a different high school. What was your high school, Andrew?
I went to North Charleston High.
Something tells me there wasn't a lot of girls wearing cat makeup meowing.
No, but
They had claws.
they had claws, all right.
No, we had like a lot of anime people at my high school. Like there was a few people that would like dress up at, like we had a dude that would dress up as like Luffy all the time. Definitely not like lore accurate Luffy. He was a little bit bigger. He definitely
He was jiggly Luffy.
yeah, he was.
There you go.
It was like if you melted a Stretch Armstrong, that's
no!
General rule of thumb is if they look like a busted can of biscuits, don't pick up what they're buying.
A melted Stretch Armstrong. That's awful. That is awful.
the only like person that got a little bit famous from the high school, we've talked about him before. He dressed up as Shrek all 4 years. He graduated with me, and every like pep rally or anything, he would have like the full Shrek outfit, like green face paint, the ears, like dress up fully like that. And then he went off to Clemson, and still continued to do that. He made like Old Row Clemson so many times, and everyone knew him around there. And, like, even people over at Coastal were like, oh, look, there's Shrek over at Clemson. I'm like, oh, yeah, I went to high school with him. Dude wanted to kill me.
That's kind of a weird thing to get famous for, right? Dressing up like Shrek all the time.
Well, you got to remember the day and age we're in, man.
Yeah.
You know, where people can show their buttholes for 5 cents and get famous. You know,
I mean, there are VTubers that are insanely famous, and it's just a model of something they made.
Yeah, I just really want to say butthole. So.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he'll edit that out.
Now, expand it, put some reverb on it.
If there's anything that Liam does to buttholes, is expansive.
Exactly.
Oh, you know.
I gotta. My kids, when I left the house today, they were like, "What are you doing?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, great, we can't wait to listen." And I'm like, "I don't know if you should." Even though I know you went and got Spotify for the sole purpose of listening to Mr. Liam's podcast.
Oh, my God. When you told me that, I was like, oh.
They've listened.
Yeah, I was like, which episodes?
I don't know. They haven't asked me questions, so.
It's probably a good sign or a bad sign.
Well, they have Google now. You know, there's a difference. You know.
I don't know. Does that make me a bad parent?
No, not at all.
Well, you know.
I mean, I had
Hey, man, I have some of the best well-rounded kids.
You do absolutely.
I had like unlimited internet access at 3rd grade, and I turned out fine.
I used to find the stale Playboys next to the railroad tracks, so you know.
Different generations. But
No, we actually, my buddy Andy brought in like vintage Playboys, so we could like look at the ads from there.
I'm sure that was the only thing you were looking at.
No, it was that. I don't give a shit
can't
about
see
any of it.
anything else. He said vintage.
It was just a little hairier time, you know.
Yeah, it's its own censor bar.
way.
But
Its own censor bar, yeah. Yeah.
But there was like the one thing. There were some weird drawings and shit that were like centerfolds. It was like creepy drawings. There was a Navy ad. So like I guess it's best post nut clarity is you bust a nut and then Navy. Let me join the Navy.
Well, it's that shame afterwards. Like, what am I gonna do with my life now? Guess I'm gonna join the Navy.
Or you could sail the 7 seas.
Yeah.
Thought a seaman came into mind. The ad was there.
Yeah.
As you keep stressing the seaman part, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Navy here, you know.
You got to be a special type person to want to go spend your life on a boat like that, right?
I mean, not the Navy, but I would do it for like a pirate ship.
What are we talking like Jack Sparrow? Or are we talking like Somalia?
No, talking Jack Sparrow. Like back in like.
You do realize it's the same thing. It's the same thing, just time frame it happened in Somalia,
yeah.
Jack Sparrow, same thing.
Well,
No,
swashbuckling.
they're privateers.
I mean, you think about the swashbuckling. I mean, you know, there was probably a lot more swashbuckling back
A
then.
lot more singing.
Yeah, I
A
guess
lot more like sea shanties.
Oh, that's what it's about. Like, I'm not all about the pirating. I just want to sail around
Exactly.
with my bros and sing shanties.
Drink rum and sing while sailing. Hell yeah! And occasionally I could fire a cannon and take down English people.
Yeah.
Sounds like the best afternoon.
Or maybe
Sounds
a couple
wonderful.
Spanish, you know? I mean,
Depends if the treasure's there or not.
exactly.
See, you were just born at the wrong time. Liam.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying for years.
You're just born at the wrong time.
Like, I have so many, like, sea shanty songs on my Spotify playlist.
Oh, well, Black Flag started that,
It
right?
did.
Black Flag started it where everybody liked sea shanties.
And then it picked up in 2020 again. Like, that sea shanties blew up after the time, like, around that time. But I was listening to it before it was cool because I would just sail on Black Flag and just sail for hours.
I had like 3 I really liked.
There's-
Like, those are the ones that, like, Sally Brown is the one that
Yep.
sticks out to my head. I love that one.
Sa-
But my kids would sing them, you know, because they would watch me play, and they would sing them, and they're like 3, 4 at the time, you know, would sing the sea shanties. And then, you know, they sing them at school now. Like, I can't even think. I want to say it's something, Earthworm Sally or something like that was one that they would sing. But it's this sea shanty, and then I'm like, I don't think y'all know what y'all are singing. Because when you listen to it, you definitely think it means different things than what they think it means, you know?
Well, and then the verbiage back then was way different than what you would think now anyway. So you're talking, what, 300-400 years ago
Yeah,
compared to...
they're a lot more Shakespearean about
Definitely.
it instead of WAP.
Well, it's even the difference of, you know, profanity, you know. It's like you couldn't say thigh back then, you know, compared to now where whop.
Yeah.
Prime example, you know, where that could climb the charts.
Y'all are talking about this like y'all are for censorship. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not at all. I'm all for saying whatever. I just think it's funny that, like, the longer we go on, it's just like, hey, you know what? You can't say any curse words on the internet. Then you hear, like, hell, damn on the internet, on TV now. Even I think radio's gone away, like, a little bit. Like, you still can't say fuck on it.
But isn't it like after a certain time they can get away with saying stuff? Because I know Comedy Central will play some pretty racy things and bad words and
After
stuff.
a certain time, yeah.
Yeah, they can get away with saying some pretty wild stuff.
And also with Pushing the Line, I know South Park did a lot for that.
Oh, yeah.
But so what would be better, right? Like we're allowed to, like, wouldn't you think that like a little bit of nudity would be better than
Well,
the
go,
grotesque?
Let's say anything.
absolutely. I mean, I recently went to Japan last year, and, you know, modern nudity is everywhere. You can walk down the street and see it up on a
But don't they
billboard.
have? But hold on now.
Well,
Hold on now. Am I showing age again? Like, don't they have to blur out certain aspects of things in Japan?
Yes.
they can't show pubic hair. There's certain aspects of the body they can't show. Mm-hmm. That's why when you, not that I've done this or anything, if you watch any anime porn or anything, you know, there's no pubic hair or anything. There's certain decency laws though that they don't have that
Oh.
America has.
All right. So my question then would be because I'm not well now we're in like a study group, right? So
Okay, okay,
we're gonna figure some stuff out. I don't. So if they get rid of the hair, they can show everything.
Yep.
Because I don't think that's right. Still, I still think they blur it out. Correct.
No, it's still censored. If that little like pixel strip is censored.
It
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
It
So
still depends on the context.
So it really
of
doesn't. But well,
no, it still depends on the context of it. Because if you're just
so
showing
if they're apart, you can see it.
Well, it's more along the lines of you can even look at early episode, or not early episodes, but early 90s Japanese culture. You could show everything, but it just couldn't be in a sexual content. So if you're going to a nudist beach, they can show all that,
Yeah.
you know,
Has to be the educational tag.
basically. You know, compared to where you're in America, you have
Well, isn't-
decency laws and everything. What are you about to ask?
It seems weird.
It's all it's all in context.
I'm just trying to figure out. Not
Censorship guy.
not by any means, right? But I also don't understand. Like, I knew they censored that industry heavy, right? But I didn't know at what point. And I always hear the issue about the hair being the issue. But I was like, but I'm pretty sure that once they make contact, there's still
I think it's just the part, just talking about, like, it is, everything else is uncensored. It's just the below the waist attachments.
And once again, it's still in the context.
Yeah.
context. When we're talking about the industry, that is the context.
Talking about just everyday nudity, man. That's where it
I'm just
changed.
trying to. I don't understand. Like, as human beings, like, we think, in this part of the world that this is not okay.
Here for another.
Go for it.
Gotcha.
I've been waiting, man. I've been saving this sip because I didn't want to dry out.
You just ask your bartender.
Yeah, I thought that's why we're coming over here, just for drinks. You just sprung this on me last minute.
Oh, is that how that happened?
Pretty sure. I could be forgetting stuff, though, It's very common. So, but yeah, no, it's like I said, it's just depending on the censor or the context of it.
Is that how heavy you poured the first one?
Yeah, 5 seconds. Full shot's a 6-second pour.
Learn something new every day.
I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking. I like it too much, so I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, I also picked like a light. So the app I have has like percentages of alcohol. Like this one's only 20% because it's only vodka. But there's some where it's like 50% because it's a mix of like 3 different kinds of liquors. Like the Man of War was bourbon, vermouth, triple sec, and then lemon juice.
Dude, when you have somebody on that you don't like a whole lot, man, you need to make duck farts for them.
Oh, God.
Oh, what's duck fart?
That's the
Oh
grossest
my
shit I've ever
God.
drank, man.
That wasn't one of my better moments there.
Well, we went to there's a barbecue place in North Charleston. That was probably mistake number 1. But they made good barbecue, and they would have like live bands every once in a while. So one night we go up and we're tying one on, having a good time, and band's okay. So Andrew sends them some drinks, and they send us some drinks back. And they look gross. They look like they're real super thick and brown, look like duty water. Mm-hmm. And we asked the bartender, and they're like, "Oh, they're duck farts." And we take a shot of these things, and they are the grossest things I have ever tasted. Like, they were bad. And that was like, people like seek this out. Like, there's a name for it. Like, people go and buy these. It was rough. But yeah, when you have somebody on and you're wanting to mess with them, man, make some duck farts.
I mean, that's why I have absinthe down there.
No way. Oh, you do have a...
I do have a whole selection.
Look at you.
Yeah, I just took inventory today. Yeah, I got the absinthe right down here. It's not true absinthe, but it's like Americanized absinthe since it's illegal over here.
Well, we got to make sure we don't make people go crazy, right?
Naturally.
I mean, why not? Just add a little bit of
Oh, no. No.
Come on.
You like black licorice?
I'll drink whatever at this point. I'm bad.
Yeah. I also
That top's not on there all the way.
I also got like Screwball, is the peanut butter whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Got quite a few screwed to house shots in my day.
Yeah. I think like I don't really have, the only thing I don't like for liquor is tequila. That's it. I'm not really a tequila man.
I can't drink rum. I stay away from rum at all costs.
No, get them the Black Velvet Reserve.
No.
Was that the one I tried at your house?
No, that was the
Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan, the Private Reserve.
Yeah, I got one from Hilton Head that's pretty good. Yeah, it's distilled down here since I tried to get like local stuff. Nice little spiced rum for you.
There you go.
Hilton Head distilled.
There you go. Have you tried the Crown Blackberry yet?
No, I haven't.
Very good. Especially mixed with
You just
like,
pull it. There you go.
Okay, that's good.
Listen, don't cafe that. Listen. Oh no.
I could have told you weren't going to do
The
that.
first handful of times I got really drunk when I was young was off of a Bacardi 151. And it definitely made me a bad person. And then much later in life, I was like, oh yeah, we were getting drunk and we were drinking, I guess it was just regular Bacardi. And I'm not shouldn't be picking fights with people all the time. So I need to stay away from rum. Because that's what it do.
It's your inner pirate coming out.
It definitely
You just
does.
saw yourself in Tortuga.
Yeah, no, I just
He saw himself as Somalia at that point.
I just stay
No, he was in Nassau.
Oh, okay, there you go.
stay away from it.
It
So I drank
happens.
vodka. And I used to stay away from tequila, but man, I have developed a taste for margaritas that is.
I mean, tequila's the best liquor to have because you don't really get any side effects the next day. Like, compared to, like, all the other ones, tequila's the, I guess, healthiest by, like, some different, like, sources out there. That's why a lot of celebrities make tequila. One, because it's easy to make. Two, because it's technically healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, in college, I used to just rip Admiral Nelson most of the time.
A cheaper version of Captain Morgan.
It is.
Yeah. It was funny. Like, I remember the first drunk I ever got was I used to steal my brother's Sky Blue. I don't know if people actually remember that. It wasn't the vodka. It was actually.
Well, I was about to say, I remember there's
No,
vodka.
this was like wine cooler Sky Blue. It tasted like Sprite, dude. And I used to steal those all the time out of the fridge. and Todd, if you listen to this, I'm not sorry. Just FYI.
Yeah, I used to, like, beer bong Four Locos. Like, shotgun Four Locos.
I don't think I've ever had a Four Loko. I don't think I've ever had a Four Loko. I've never had a White Claw.
So
The White Claw, you're missing out.
So
Missing
we're
out. It's
telling
pretty
drunk
good.
stories
Is it?
here. I got a good one about him. This is a good one.
Oh.
We were bowling one day.
Is this when I had the kids? Is that what you're getting at when I was arguing with the
I
cops?
don't know what you're talking about. All I'm going to say is, yeah, he wasn't happy that the pitcher machine took his money, and he was going to try to fight the pitcher machine because he wanted a pitcher.
Yeah, I wanted a picture.
So
But I argued. I was drunk as a skunk at the bowling alley with two of my kids at like midnight, and I'm arguing with the police about
During a
giving about giving me my money back on an arcade machine that wasn't owned by the cop. It was bad. It was bad, Andrew.
It's a story.
That was it. That was it.
you had to kind of be there for it, but I promise you, the image of him arguing with the machine to give him back the money. He argued with the attendant, but he argued with the machine.
We all have bad nights.
Yes, we do.
We all have bad nights.
Some of us yell at clocks. Other people argue with Skynet.
Some people walk home to the Waffle House at
I don't live in a Waffle House.
3 o'clock in the morning, or walk to the Waffle House at 3 o'clock in the
A
morning.
Waffle House after midnight is the best food you can get. Mostly if the dude's smoking a cigarette right on the front, you know you're in a good place.
When the cook is out front smoking, you know your food's about to be really good.
Oh, yeah. It's American hibachi.
What I think is funny is the Waffle House and my neck of the woods, they have armed security guards Friday and Saturday and Sunday night. If you show up after like 10 o'clock, man, they got an armed security guard at the door.
Well, you got to remember, dude, when I used to work for a certain entertainment place, we used to have armed security Friday and Saturday night.
Well, yeah, the one that you used to work at got closed down for a gunfight in the lobby.
So
Actually,
security wasn't that good.
well, that's after I wasn't working there anymore, but it was right next door to a liquor store.
I mean, I used to love going there, man. I'll tell you what, if my kids never thought I was cool, they thought I was cool when we'd go there. Because we'd go see Uncle Andrew, and Andrew made it fun. Mm-hmm. We had a good time.
I was a manager, so, you know. It went from a $150 visit to a free visit very quickly.
The kids had a blast. It was a good time.
Yeah.
So is this entertainment venue what I'm thinking of?
I'm sure it is. It involves a certain animomorphic mouse.
Giant rat.
It's a
I'm
mouse.
going the wrong place.
Giant rat.
Giant rat.
Yeah,
And yes, before you asked, I played the rat.
Chester Entertainment Cheese.
that's right.
That's his actual name, which is wild.
His middle name is Entertainment.
You wondered why I don't have kids, that's why. It's the ultimate form of birth
Oh my
control.
god.
Dude,
I can't even imagine.
When I used to work at the store, we had one of those locations right in our parking lot. And I would go there and have lunch. And people were like, how are you going there to have lunch? And I'm like, dude, my house is a circus. Like, I go home and it's all the time, man. So it's like, it's easy to go for lunch and then listen to kids play and
It's just
loud
white noise for
music.
you.
yeah, just tune it right out.
I'm sorry. After you have to argue about people with the salad bars and stuff, you just lose, you lose a sense of reality.
Okay, first problem is you're going there not for the salad. Salad shouldn't be. It's like pizza having a salad bar. Like it's there, but it's usually ignored and probably shouldn't be there.
Believe it or not, it is not. It is very much a focal point.
Really?
Yes.
That is, yeah, I think
It's
it
like I'll
is.
have 10 hamburgers, a whole bunch of fries, and you know what? Diet Cola.
Exactly. And that's the key to it. Yeah, it was a focal point of it, and after people didn't get the hint that all you can eat is per person, not buy one plate, you can feed the whole family.
Yeah.
That's when I knew my career trajectory needed to change.
It's also interesting with buffets how like there's a lot of psychology that goes into it because like they give you small plates for a reason because your mind tricks itself that if you like finish your whole plate you're full.
Yeah.
So they're trying to save a little bit of money, and I know Matt Pat did like a food theory on how to get the best bang for your buck, and it's basically just load up on meat. That is it.
Oh yeah, of course. That's the expensive part.
Well, that's the crazy thing. I read a report that was saying that's how, like, not buffets, but like Mexican restaurants and stuff trick you into doing it too by bringing you the chips and the salsa and everything. Because you're more likely as you're eating to order more food than if you're not.
Yeah.
That's why free bread at like Texas Roadhouse and everything.
Olive
Dude,
Garden,
their
everybody.
bread is to die for. The Texas
know.
Road, like honey butter, like
It's orgasmic, man.
dude. One of my old roommates used to work at Texas Roadhouse, so I'd always just have him try to bring rolls or like whatever. And then he ended up working for Halls, so like if he could get anything, it was fucking perfect. And we went down there one like I know I give the illusion of being high class and everything. With my really like, yeah. No, I've only been to like 2 fancy restaurants, and both of those was just off of like people paying for me. Because I went with my ex-girlfriend's graduation was down at Crew Cafe because her sister used to work there. Then he used to work at Halls, and he had his birthday down here and went to Halls, and it was like a $700 order comped down to $300. And, like, I met the owner of Halls. Like, they came out and gave us, like, free Wagyu beef. Like, I was like, holy shit.
See, I'm so trashy. The only one I heard of Halls. Mm-hmm. Never thought about eating there.
I never thought about eating there until he was like, everything's covered by me. I'm like, yes, fucking sir.
And then what was the other one you said?
Crew Cafe.
No.
I only heard about it because of my ex's sister. That's about it. It's a nice little establishment.
Yeah, I'm just not a very fancy person.
He's got that West Virginia in him,
Yeah.
So wild, man. Tell people I lived in West Virginia for a year. People are like, oh, you hillbilly. It's like, I was born here. I've lived here forever. I was born at the old Roper Hospital.
They just tell you about you have eyes for your cousin, So.
And it's funny, too, because I tell everybody in the same breath, I lived it for a year right outside of Birmingham. Nobody goes, you're from Alabama.
It's the West Virginia.
It is.
The West Virginia. But
It's
you know what?
the very dominant trait.
Listen, West Virginia was wild when I lived there. I was like 12, 11 when I lived there. Mm-hmm. And, dude, I would say like a quarter of the population I went to school with didn't have shoes.
Yeah,
like they just go, it'd be snow on the ground and they wouldn't have shoes. And, probably about the same number of kids didn't have running water in their house. Like it wasn't unheard of for that. They still bathed in the creek in the hollow. It's wild, man. I'm not 80. I'm not 100, man. Like, that's not that long ago.
You just have really good genes there, folks,
But it was,
He comes from good stock.
But in the same breath, they were some they were some of the best people. They were like really good, really good people, and worked real hard and do anything for you. It was a trip living up there.
Oh yeah, I have the episode with my grandfather coming out Saturday. Like we talked about Wheeling a little bit, some of his family. The title of the episode is "You Can't Swing a Dead Cat Without Hitting a Duffy." It's like that's the saying in Wheeling because my grandfather is apparently one of 10, and then like one of them passed away because of tetanus, so like one of 9. So they bred like Catholic rabbits. There's so many fucking Duffys.
My family up there were the Fords, and like they ran rapid. Like it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Underwood was another big name up there.
Yeah. I also didn't know my grandfather was like from the family. Actually, not my grandfather was from like Grafton. Like, I'd never heard of Grafton except for, like, the Grafton Monster. Grafton Monster. And I only knew that because of Fallout 76. That's where I learned, like, I knew about,
Some really obscure reference, to say the least.
yeah, I only knew about, like, Mothman from Point Pleasant from, like, the West Virginia cryptids. I didn't know about, like, the Grafton Monster, the Flatwoods Monster.
See, where I lived at, they had the old tale of Slewfoot, is what they always talked about. It was like Bigfoot, but he had a bad foot. Like one foot was either mangled or just like the nub that hung, and he would drag it. So supposedly you would see his prints, and it would be like, it'd look like a big footprint and then a drag mark. And people would swear up and down all over, like where I lived, that Slewfoot was real. And then you had a bunch of old, like we had a place up there called the Devil's Tea Table, and it wasn't on our property. Now my family owned upwards of like 340, 350 acres. Like they owned a lot of land between the brothers and sisters and stuff. But it was right outside our family, and we could get on they have like natural gas easements everywhere. You could get on the easement and drive a couple mountains over, and they had these massive rocks that were in the shape of 2 chairs and a table, and they called it Devil's Tea Table. And nobody knows how they were formed up on top of this hill. Really cool to look at. And then there was another place called, we called it Turtle Graveyard, and it was just like where all the turtles in the area would go to die. You could go there, and there'd be hundreds of turtle shells, and intact, just with nothing in them. Still have the color plates, because the color plates would come off and it would just be a white shell. Still have the color plates, like nothing would touch them. There'd be hundreds of them there. It's just weird place.
Have you heard that weird bridge over in England that, like, dogs jump off of?
No.
So it's like a really high up bridge, and for some reason, like, dogs will just jump, and like they will fall, like, jump to their deaths, and if like the dog survives, they will go back up to the bridge and then jump off again. Like, it's a weird, like, phenomena that, like, no one has, like, been able to figure out.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. Like, people have said, like, maybe it's, like, a magnetic field. Maybe it's, like, a sound they hear that tricks them into, like, jumping off. It's, like, weird shit.
It's not like the Taming of the Shrews with Disney, right?
What's that?
You never heard about the Taming of the Shrews?
No, not at all.
Well, I don't want to tell it because I don't know if I got it 100%. I don't want to tell stories wrong. But my understanding is early on in Disney, they made a movie about shrews, like a documentary almost. And they talked about like a mass suicide at these little...
Oh, lemmings.
Yeah, no. Where they were throwing them off the cliff, right?
No, that's known. That was faked. Like,
yeah. Okay. So I didn't want to bash. I don't need Disney coming after.
Nah, they're fine.
Disney's
they have
rough.
No, they're too busy ruining a whole bunch more movies and series.
Just destroying Star Wars.
Among other things.
So it was lemmings, right?
Yeah, it was.
But they had somebody like sitting at the top of the cliff, hurling them off the cliff, and they were telling people that they were jumping.
It's funny you say that. You ever watch the movie Milo and Otis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's actually video of them throwing actual cats and dogs off the cliff.
Oh,
to their
no.
death.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That's
I loved
serious.
Milo and Otis as a kid. I had
Yeah.
a dog named Milo after that
Yeah,
movie.
there's video of that end scene where the cat's like climbing back up the cliff. They're throwing like orange cats off the cliff.
Oh yeah, so many animals have died, and that's sort of what led to not PETA, but like animal.
The American Humane Society.
Yeah, like stepping into movies because like so many pugs and cats just died during the filming of that. But
I mean, they got in trouble on that last dog movie that they made, like 5 or 6 years, maybe 10 years ago at this point. It's about a dog, and like they show it drowning in the movie or something like that.
Oh, A Dog's Purpose?
I guess so.
Was it the one where it keeps reincarnating over and over again?
I think so.
Yeah,
And
Dog's
I know they
Purpose.
got a lot of trouble because of that scene about the dog drowning and what they were making that dog do.
Yeah. It was a good movie, though.
Was it?
It was one of... Okay, so, like, the first death of the dog was sad. And then you just got used to the dog dying, so it wasn't as sad.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It's
Conditioning at its finest.
By the way, I don't think any of us condone, dogs dying here. Just
Oh, no.
disclaimer.
We do not condone death. We are not North Korea.
or China.
Yeah, whichever one.
Man.
But like going back to the Disney thing, you have to fuck up so hard to ruin space lesbians for a whole bunch of people between 18 to 40.
I just think they forgot who their clients were. They forgot who their customers were.
Yeah.
And they quit. It's always been the same. It's been nerdy young guys
know your audience.
Yeah, and it's like they kind of went away from. I don't know.
Well, that's what happens when you feed into a political movement where people don't spend money.
Well, it's got to do too with like I get you're trying to include other people, but when you're trying to include other people, you can't forget about the people who got you there, right? And it's like you forgot about the people who got you there, and you included the other people. Well, are they going to float what you got going on now? Oh, they don't. Not as much as the other people did, right? Not as much as your diehard people that have loved you for the last 40 years.
I mean, there's been a huge shakeup in like the movie, TV, and video game industry. Like from y'all been playing video games for longer than me, but I can remember back in 2000, like the games were fun and it was all about like gameplay, story, and it was like write good stories, get good stories out.
Yeah.
Now it's like every once in a while you have like a good story, like Borderlands 3, the story was trash. Just like they're wanting more money for shittier games, and like I like that a whole bunch of better games are now getting thrown into the spotlight that are actually taking time to not come out with bugs, not come out with everything. Because like you loved Starfield, I hated Starfield.
I hate that they haven't added more to it. Like there's so much room for it to grow and be a better game, right? And like yeah, your first week in it, like you don't know that it's gonna. Like, you could end it in the next hour, right? You know what I mean? It's like one of those games I set up where it's very in depth and you can do a lot in it. But if you run from start to finish, like I'm at a point now where I've beat it like 20 something times, you know what I mean? And I still think it's okay.
Yeah.
But until you give me new content in it, like I don't want to play no more. Like I've done it.
I just don't like how Bethesda's Skyrimming games. Like, you get what I'm saying. The moment they added, like, Fusro and all the, like, dragon shouts, they're like, okay, every character now has to have a certain power.
Yeah.
Like, I swear if they do that in the next Fallout game.
Well, I think the biggest thing that bothered me with games, and I think it started when we worked at the game store, was upon release, the game would come out and have stuff to download immediately. And it's like, no, man, you made that for the game. Put it in the game. That's not something you made after the fact, right? That's not something extra you did. What you did is you made it for the game, and then you restricted me from touching it until I paid more money.
Yeah.
That's foul. But now you see cars doing it, right?
Yeah.
Now you see every industry doing it.
Well, see, to me, though, even on that front, the DLC, I don't mind. I'll even pay for it as long as it comes out so long after the initial release.
Yeah.
As long as it's legitimate DLC.
Give me 3 months. Give me 6 months.
Like, look at Elden Ring with the Shadow of the Erd Tree. That's a $40 DLC, but it's also packed with a whole bunch of shit. But also, like, FromSoft does so good with their games. And compared to that, to, like, the new Assassin's Creed coming out, it's like $80 initially, then you can pay $120 for like added a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can get the Ubisoft Plus, which is $16 a month, and then you can get that. While also the owner of Ubisoft was like, you don't own any of the games, you license them. Which pissed off the whole internet.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of a conversation me and my wife are having right now. My wife is mad. I got a lot of movies. I got a lot of DVDs. And she's like, I want you to downsize. I want you to get rid of a lot of them. And I was like, yeah, it was the moment you get rid of your copy, what you own of it, right? Then you are just at the will of somebody else letting you watch their copy, right? And it's like, well, how good is their copy? How much has their copy been tampered with? How much of it is original?
Yep.
You know, all that stuff matters just to me when I watch, old art, because that's what it is, you know.
I miss a lot of the physical media we had. I'm a mix between both. Like, I will download all the games on my PC because it's convenient, but like I hate doing like Kindle books. I love physical copies of books. Just having all of that. I never really got into DVDs. I was never a big like DVD guy.
But streaming has always been around when you like.
Yeah, and that's the key difference. There.
Yeah.
Like for me, I have you see my wall.
Oh yeah,
media,
you have them alphabetized
exactly.
too.
Yes, I am that asinine with it. But for me, it's censorship too. I don't want my stuff to get censored just because somebody found it offensive. Hell, even if I find it offensive, I still don't want it censored.
Yeah.
But even then, though, physical media is so much better. It looks better than when you're streaming or anything else.
I think I watched a damn commercial. And I'll go ahead and tell you, like, most of the time, what I've realized is like, say something triggers a memory, and then I want to watch a movie. I have a handful of streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I borrow a couple other people's streaming things, right? Like, this dude, like, he's got, like, massive, but 9 chances out of 10, when my brain is triggered and I go, I want to watch this, I can't find it to stream. I know I own it, but I know I can't, like, the way I'm, like, they're stored right now, I just can't get to them. There's thousands in boxes, you know? But it doesn't change the fact that I can't stream it if I wanted to. I'd have to rebuy it. You know what I mean?
You should just get like a jukebox that you can have them all in there and just.
Dude, I'm running through ideas. I need to do something because I literally have thousands. Like, I think I quit counting at 2,000, and then that was years before I quit collecting, you know? And I haven't bought a DVD in a long time now. But in all honesty, not really a lot of stuff's coming out now that's
Been good.
been worth
Yeah.
like trying to own a copy of. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a few like diamonds in the roughs that have like popped through.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of the entertainment thing has taken like a massive hit because just how open everyone is for entertainment. You can get whatever anywhere, and people will just basically take the bare minimum. Look at a lot of the Netflix original or Hulu original movies. It's just dog shit after dog shit after dog shit.
Marvel's prime example of that.
God.
Marvel is the king of that.
but what's so weird is like with Marvel, right? Is like they can drop like turd after turd, right? Like things that just aren't landing like they're supposed to, and then something that's obscure and you don't think is going to be is well put together and well thought out. I know me and my wife really enjoyed Echo. You know, and I guess she's a villain from Marvel,
Yeah.
like the Daredevil universe that they just. But her show was good. It was a good TV show.
Right.
Couldn't get into the Hawkeye show. Couldn't get in. I can't remember what the other one was.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Couldn't get into it. Right. It just wasn't. Echo was good. Like, we enjoyed it. And then I think it's the same way with Star Wars. I think Star Wars is going to be that same way. I think they're going to have 3 or 4 misses, and then they're going to land on something again. And is it accident? Probably, right? Because I don't think they know what they're doing. But like The Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Book of Obi-Wan also was pretty decent from what I heard.
My understanding, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I understand it was good. I know the Book of Boba Fett was good. Like, they did a good job with it, you know. But I don't know about Ashoka. I think was one of them.
Ahsoka. I've heard mixed things about that. Like, you have to. A lot of people that don't like the Ahsoka movie or show is about how she became a Grey Jedi. They don't like the. I guess they like the Jedi's good and evil. They don't like the in between type of Jedi. It's like what she came out to because she was Padawan for Anakin.
Right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it still has to do with, director and, the Acolyte being prime example of that. You hire somebody that doesn't know the Star Wars universe and put them in there and they write garbage, and then attack the fans. You can't attack your audience, you know? So...
Well, it definitely helps.
While we're on this subject, am I the only person that's upset that they're not making Brightburn 2?
No,
No, I liked it.
I'm a huge
Now,
B-rated horror.
Now that's the guy who went on to do the DC stuff, right? And that's why he can't do it now.
Yeah, not John Favreau. Shit, he was on Joe Rogan. I watched him.
Talking about,
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Snyder, right?
Yeah, it's Snyder. Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Well, that sucks, man, because I really enjoyed Brightburn.
And that was an actual, it wasn't an original story, but it was a hot take on it.
Original enough, right? And then, I was very intrigued when you watched the little thing at the end when they're talking about the other superheroes and villains. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome.
It's funny you say that because me and him actually went out to eat, and I'd asked him about it, and he'd never heard it. I showed him the trailer for it, and he's like, "Dude, I just got chills."
Yeah, I want to
based
see
on
that.
that trailer. So
Yeah, I'm one of those weird people. I can listen to music and watch movies and get goosebumps. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, that's weird. I was like, no, man, I do it all the time. I can talk about music and get goosebumps. You know what I mean?
oh,
It hits like a certain memory if you're like thinking back to like a song. It takes you back to the place or like where you heard it before, or like media affects you. It definitely like makes it better in my opinion.
Oh, I love it, man. I love movies. I love music. I think it's one of the last art forms, especially with the way like AI is doing with art and all that stuff. Like they still can't do music.
Yeah.
I still can't do music worth a shit. But it does an all right job with paintings, right? Like, you look at a painting, until you look at the hands, it looks amazing. And my understanding is it can tell stories pretty well, too, if you get it to, like, start...
If you get good at the prompts, like, you basically have to, like, reteach yourself if you know how to, like, Google stuff correctly. You have to reteach yourself how to, like, put in AI prompts correctly. I'm getting a little bit better with it because I have to make it for, like, D&D stuff. But it takes a little bit to get used to. I haven't figured out the video aspect of that yet, but that's...
I didn't just mean to yawn while you were talking. That's a sign for me drinking, not you being boring.
I get it. I understand, Robert. I'm boring.
Yeah.
Completely understand. I'm just going to fall asleep at work tomorrow. Fuck you.
Like that's any different than any other day.
But yeah, I'm a firm believer in that kind of media anyway. As long as you can discern and take the nostalgia glasses off, because not everything that you thought was a gem, as in when in your childhood, isn't going to be a gem now.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that the hard way, watching a lot of old classic movies.
Like Howard the Duck was like that for me, but it was a flop back then, right? Like it was like a huge flop, and that was what George Lucas, right?
Yeah.
George
Right?
Lucas, yep.
And like, but you look at him now, right? He's been premiered in all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's getting ready to get his own stand-up movie again. Love the character.
TV show as well.
Yeah, love the character. It was a great idea. But I still think that as a kid, it was just because you seen Duck movies in the beginning.
Duck tits.
And I sat down to watch it with my kids, and every one of my kids made a comment about it when it happened. It's like 3 seconds on the screen. Every one of them looked at me and was like, really? And it's like, that was the time, man. You look at me like I made the movie. Like
You did, Robert.
Came straight from his subconscious thoughts about duck tits.
It was funny, though.
That's where the AI generation was to begin with.
Are we talking about in his head or in duck tits?
It's a theory of like memories have their own consciousness.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It just left Robert's head from Duck Tits and then went to the director of Howard Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I love some of those. Like, I talk about Meet the Feebles all the time. And that was Peter Jackson and Jim Henson.
Yeah.
And, dude, it is rotten. It is puppets doing the rottenest things that you could ever imagine.
It's just like the modern day like Happy Time Murder.
Yeah.
Like that. It's or even if you want to go like theater route, Avenue Q is the same thing of like fucked up puppets.
Yeah.
But it's just a funny genre to do because like you grew up with the Muppets,
Yeah.
Sesame Street. They're so interesting.
Well, it's really wild, too, to think that, Peter Jackson was no name. Like, nobody thought he was going to do Lord of the Rings later, And, like, Jim Henson was already a name. I think he was already doing the Muppets at the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what a chance,
Yeah.
right? What a risk to take in the middle of doing a kid's show is like, I'm out these walruses and cats and getting after it. And
Well, you can go back to Felix the Cat.
Felix the
You've
Cat.
seen that.
Yeah.
How raunchy was that?
They apparently they're putting up for sale the Henson Studios.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I think they did that in a Muppet movie too, though, didn't they?
Fraggle Rock, man. Like they brought back Fraggle Rock, and I remember there was a time that my kids would come home from school and be like, "Dad, kids don't know what Fraggle Rock is." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, they're not going to know. You got to ask their parents. Like their parents know what Fraggle Rock is." And then they revamped it and put it on like HBO or something. Mm-hmm. And then my kids were like, "Everybody knows what Fraggle Rock is now." And I was like, and it's not the initial kids got older, and it's like a new kids, and it was just funny how we recycle all these things, right? Like
my grandfather had like VHS copies of Fraggle Rock, so I remember that he had like VHS copies of that, and then like the Pokemon movies. Like the Pokemon movies were for me and my cousin because we grew up watching like the original Pokemon and everything. So like going back when I would visit, I was like put in a VHS tape, and it's weird now because my grandma has them all up in her sort of like storage area. Yeah. My little cousin Gavin knows what VHS tapes and like knows how to rewind them and everything.
Well, it's like I can remember having the original X-Men cartoon recorded off of Saturday morning cartoons, right? And we're talking like 96, 97, I think, 97. And then they just released the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's like the same thing. And like my kids love it now. And it's like, this is so much like what I used to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild how like everything's recycled. fashion.
There's no original ideas left.
The fact that Greta Van Fleet is a band right now is like just shows that even music is recycled.
I mean, you love Metallica and like so much. It's your favorite band.
Metallica had their time. I don't want to talk ill of them. My brother-in-law would kill me because like he loves Metallica. It's just not my thing anymore.
He might have to get an Uber from here, you know.
I mean, like
you're like that over Metallica too?
No, I'm not a diehard, but I do.
I mean, your favorite two bands are one Metallica and then Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, CCR, dude. I hate so much that I learned that about CCR because I think they make great music, but I cannot listen to them anymore, man. I cannot listen to them anymore. Like John Fogerty, like nobody else in CCR made any money, only John Fogerty. And I can remember I was talking shit, and I was like, "Nah, that's foul, man. You can't do that." And my stepfather or my father-in-law, stepfather, whatever, right? He was like, John Fogerty was the talent. And all I could think of is, I was like, well, Jimi Hendrix was the talent, but he made sure the band of gypsies got paid. Like, his band always made money. Like, you can't, I don't know. I'll never listen to John Fogerty. I just think that's foul. Foul.
It's like I know how to grind your gears from all the conversations.
Well, we've had all these conversations in little small segments. But, I mean, I think there's a handful of bands that are like that I just can't stomach listening to because of weird, like and sometimes it's really weird things. My wife gives me a hard time about it, but once they do things that I don't like, I'll bail.
Well, there's enough media out there, you know, whether it's music, movies, TV, games, anything.
Yeah. Plus, like the indie scene is like really taken off in all those medias. It's like you don't really need a record label or like a big production studio to make like high-end movies.
If your talent is there, people can discover it. You don't have to have somebody discover it for you and then present it to everybody. You can present it yourself. But it's got to, I mean, I know a lot of people who struggle in that universe, that whatever you want to call it, you know. Yeah. You know, we work with a great artist, you know, does great things. Looking at shit that you have sitting right there, right? Like, and I think his art's great. I have a bunch at my house, but I know he has a hard time figuring out the algorithms and getting in front of people. But I'm sure if he got it in front of the right people, it would do well. Yeah. You know. It's a benefit, but then maybe it would be nice to have somebody come along and knew what the fuck was going on. Could be like, hey man, this is which is what those guys used to do for bands back then, right?
Or you sell your soul to the crossroads devil.
I think that's happened quite a bit.
I forget his name. He was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Robert. What's the guy's name?
Cross? No, not Cross. Let me look this up.
Story old as time, though, man. Selling your soul. And people say about that 34 Club, right, or 33 Club. It's kind of weird that all those people happened to them that way, right? Joplin, Hendrix, Cobain, Shannon Noon.
Robert Johnson, there it goes. I knew it was Robert something. I couldn't remember the last name. Yeah, because I never heard about him until I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I, like, looked into his story, and it's wild because he went away for a little bit. He was terrible, then went away, and when he came back, he was so much better.
But, you know, that's the story of a lot of, like, great men, right, throughout history.
Or Beatles. The 100 Hours over in Germany, was it?
I'm not sure. I'm not a big Beatles fan, so getting me to pull information on Beatles is going to be hard.
Yeah, they left Liverpool for a little bit, then played over in another country for a while. When they came back, it wasn't even the same band as before, and it was just wild. You could
accumulate that just learning, like finding a new influence, right? Or drugs, right? Being sober, catching that dragon and riding it for a little while. That will definitely change the way you see the world.
Are you referring to Yoko Ono here? Talking about the dragon?
Oh no, we never talk about that disgrace.
That was bad, Andrew. That was almost as bad as you walking up to my wife yesterday and handing her a box of Little Debbie's and saying, "I hear this is what you like."
Hold on, you're the one that brought up cream pies. Thank you very much.
Well, we know Robert doesn't like condiments, so.
Yeah, well, as long as it ain't ranch. He don't like the creamy texture.
My old boss that's how he'd introduce me to people. He'd go, "This is Robert. He doesn't believe in religion. He doesn't like condiments, and he doesn't use condoms. That was his line. I've never known these people, and this is how he would introduce me to people. And I'm like,
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
this is so weird. It's like, don't quit saying that. And I think he just liked to watch me argue with people because it was like, one of these things will piss you off.
Money, politics, or religion? Pick your
Yeah,
poison.
pick it.
Which dialogue tree do you want to go down?
Exactly.
I'm more curious about the condiments one because that's wild.
I don't know,
I'm like
man.
a ranch lover myself. The good old American sauce.
I like to put A1 steak sauce on steaks that aren't cooked well, and I'll put barbecue sauce on things, but pretty much everything else stays away from my plates. I don't dislike ketchup, but I don't see the need for it.
You gave me the weirdest look whenever I told you I put ketchup on my scrambled eggs.
Yep, that's gross. That's so gross.
It's not just scrambled eggs. It's mixed in with like bacon, ham, or sausage.
You're not helping your case.
Okay, I don't care. It's a hill I would die on.
I mean, I know a lot of people do. You know, I know it's a thing, but it's just not.
That's not mine either.
Yeah, not me.
I'm not anti-condiment by all means, but yeah, no, ketchup doesn't belong on breakfast.
I can make it worse for you. When I was younger, I used to do it with syrup instead of ketchup.
Actually, see, syrup I could kind of understand because that's more along the line of the breakfast tree. Anyway.
It drives me crazy because what I like about eggs and bacon and sausage is that it's not sweet, and then you just like take sugar syrup and pour on it. Whether it's ketchup, because ketchup is just red sugar syrup, or you put maple syrup, which is brown sugar syrup, or whatever you want to put on it. It's just putting a lot of sweet on it.
I think the maple syrup lasted for about a year, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I had like a big sweet tooth when I was young, and I just got away from it. Like, I don't really have desserts or anything except for like the lemon loaves. Like, I'm a sucker for those.
It happens. I'm a little diabetic Debbie kid here myself.
You don't say.
I do say.
I like them every once in a while, but the mood's got to be right. I hardly ever eat sweets. My wife loves to make cakes and pies and desserts, and I was like, it's weird that you pick the one thing that I don't participate in, and that's what you decided to be your hobby.
Yeah.
Something I don't participate in. I was like, I understand. I get it.
Till like Christmas time, and then I know she's gonna ask for another plate of cookies.
Dude, I swear to God, I didn't touch one, man. And she said they were really good. Like, if I see your mom today, I'll let her know that my wife loved her sweets. Wish I could have tried some.
I already told Mom for next year that we need to give like a bigger tray to Robert and his family.
I don't even think the kids got it, man. I really think
It was all Wendy.
Yeah, I think it was all Wendy.
Yeah.
She's got the sweet tooth. That is her Achilles heel for sure. She doesn't drink. She doesn't like to go out. She'd like to stay home and make a cake and then eat the whole fucking thing.
I mean, it works.
That and making babies, that's her other thing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're already planning another trip
No.
to the beach. So
You quit planning that shit with her. Andrew and my wife were planning me to have another baby.
So the last two he's had, we were doing bachelor parties for my buddies, and
Yeah, it just so happened.
to coincide with that trip to Myrtle Beach.
Almost exactly, yes. I'm pretty sure that the return home from the bachelor party conceived two of my
So
children.
next time you go to Myrtle Beach, there's a cult up there.
Oh, so let's talk about that a little bit, Liam.
Okay, yeah, let's go into it.
So how did you meet that? So Liam dated a cult member for a little while. Like, she was full-fledged in the cult when you met her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it didn't deter you, right?
No.
So that just shows you how strong our little brain works, right?
Crazy pussy's the best pussy.
I was gonna ask, did you have to like shave your pubes in like a
No,
shape of a Q
so
or
this
something?
wasn't just-
Japan would still blur it.
Yeah, they were. So this wasn't a Kool-Aid cult. It was a chai tea cult. It was a
Chai tea cult.
it was a guy from India. His name was Meher Baba, and he believed he was the reincarnation of Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha. So I go up for like New Year's, and she goes to the place up in North Myrtle Beach, right by Walmart.
Right by Walmart. It's got to be right by Walmart.
Right by Walmart.
It's not the South unless it's by a Walmart.
Exactly. So then you go into the spiritual center, you go to the welcome center, you sign in and everything. Oh, it's your first time here? Come to this little room and we'll pop in a VCR so we can see the guy walking on the grounds of the land. So that's what happened. It walked in a room, me and like 3 other people, which were her friends and my friends, and we went there. It's beautiful land, like absolutely beautiful. It looks like if what's the place from Jason?
Crystal Lake?
If Crystal Lake was in the south, that's what it would look like. So there's a whole bunch of cabins and everything. There's a whole bunch of walking trails. It was virgin land, which is untouched, never built on. That's what he wanted. There's a new. So there's also, I think the guitarist of the Who is a part of it too. He did a whole song to him also. And like walking around the area, I went up for New Year's where they do line dancing and they have prayer for everything. You go in his house, you pray by his like bed stand, and like they're really nice people. I'll give them credit for that. They're really amazing, nice, have a whole conversation. I just didn't want to be a part of it. But it was interesting.
Well, hell, I want to be a part of it. You sold it. You
Yeah.
sold it. They
Go up to Myrtle.
Well, I was going to say, they fucked up not having you just recruit people, man. Like, you're salesman galore. Like, it's great. It's beautiful. Trails everywhere. Crazy Pussy's great. Like,
That beautiful virgin land, untouched,
Exactly.
undeveloped.
Shit, they should pay me for that sponsorship deal.
that's right. But what did you say the guy's name was?
Meher Baba.
The Baba thing. Explain that to me, because aren't they all Baba?
Yeah, they're all Baba, which Baba is like a guru title, I guess. So there's a lot of like Babas over in India.
So that's like the equivalent of saying like master before somebody's name, like in the slave. Like it's just like
or like professor,
Yeah,
or it's
okay.
just a title. Yeah. It's that just like India has a lot of gurus and babas and that spiritual teachings and
because I hear that's pretty wild when they do that like 4-day or week-long
Fasting.
whatever. I don't want to like butcher it. I'm not poking fun by any means, right? But like I guess all their spiritual leaders like get together and you can walk around and get blessings from different ones, and a lot of them have like different physical defects and stuff like that, right? Like, and that's what makes them special, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes them the Baba, elephant Baba. The guy had like only one side of his face you could see, and the other side of his face had like melted down his body.
Yep.
You know,
I think Meher Baba took a like vow of silence for the longest time, so he would write everything on like a chalkboard after a good bit. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting. That's all I got. It's an interesting place. People were cool. There's a few people from like Coastal Carolina that went there, and their reason to go to Coastal Carolina is because it was right there.
it's really I find human beings to be just amazing. Amazing, some of the things that we can trick ourselves into believing.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of the things that like we choose to like put up blinders to. Like it's just the human experience is wild for everybody. You know what I mean? And the way we navigate it is just
for
amazing.
a lot of religions and cults, all it comes down to is just timing of what part of life people are in. If they're at a really hard point in their time and someone gives them a beacon of hope, people tend to go to that.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's just the weak-minded. It's really not.
It's opportunity.
Exactly, and that's the key to it there.
That's why like a lot of the leaders are like fucking social savants. Like they know how to manipulate and talk to people, and they know how to like
Galvanize the masses. Yeah.
It goes a little bit back to there's a book called Chaos about Charles Manson. How like it was a CIA psyop that he was trained by the CIA to feed people LSD and give them tasks to do, so they could carry out hits and try to do the MK Ultra project to try to mind control people was the whole thing. And according to Chaos, Charles Manson was a part of it because like multiple times he was arrested, he was pulled out, and people in suits were like, "This is above your pay grade, let him go."
Yep.
Then we see how that went.
Well, his whole story is pretty wild, right? Like he was like
Abused
leaving orphanages when he was like 8 and shit. And like imagine being 8 years old and going, "This place sucks so bad, I'd rather be on my own." Like that's rough, man.
Yeah.
Holy
No
hell.
different than anything today.
But I mean, there ain't a whole lot of 8-year-olds, even in the worst of situations, going, I'd rather be on the streets. I'd rather peace out than deal with this. You
It's
know,
easy to pick up an urchin. They don't have any ties to anything.
Yeah.
It's easy to mold someone's brain from that.
Especially at that young age, anyway.
I mean, look at Russian sleeper agents. Back in the day, they would take them from their parents and mold them from them being young. Look at China with the fucking gymnasts.
oh yeah,
Teach them from a young age, and that's all they know, how to be the best gymnast possible.
Oh, yeah.
Russians, too, also do that.
Oh, and you limit, access to social media, you limit media, you limit everything.
Yeah.
So all the way down to what they can eat, when they can eat. It's easy to mold a mind,
Oh, yeah.
that's why our military does it the way that they do it, right? With like boot camps and stuff,
Well,
right?
King of the Hill did it best with that one episode. I don't know if you're a big King of the
Pocket
Hill.
sand.
No. Luann joined the cult, and they starve her to death
yeah.
and name her Jane.
Yeah.
They tell you basically when you can use the bathroom and everything else, and it doesn't take much for a rational mind to bend to anybody's will.
Yeah.
So
What's the guy from King of the Hill? Not the main one, but
You got Bill,
Dale,
Boomhauer.
yeah.
Boomhauer's pocket sand.
Not
Dale,
Boomhauer.
No, Dale was pocket sand.
Yeah, Dale Gibble was pocket sand. Boomhauer, Ribble,
Yep.
best American.
a Boomhauer you can't understand.
The third one, not Hank. Bill.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill's an interesting character too, because like I always think back to the Lorraine episode.
Yeah. Lenore.
Lenore, that's it.
Yeah,
Lenore. Yeah, because like I haven't seen much of King of the Hill.
Right.
But like I saw that. I saw
Well,
of course when Boomhauer was singing. Like I've seen those
fun
episodes.
conspiracy theory was it was actually that Bobby was actually
Bill's kid.
Bill's
kid
kid.
instead
Yeah.
of Hank's. Yeah.
Because
The
Hank
narrow
had-
urethra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually, if you look at the artwork, they actually look similar, body style and everything.
Yeah, it's wild when I mean I wouldn't put it past.
Mike Judd.
Yeah, it's so wild, like Idiocracy. Like if you watch that nowadays from like a lot of Mike Judge movies and Mike Judge like TV shows.
Shows, yeah.
Because he also did Beavis and Butthead, right?
Yep. Beavis and Butthead. Office Space. Office Space to me is still his magnum opus. Like there is no better movie. And like I've never worked in that environment, right? But I get it. I get every bit of that movie. Like I understand. I love that movie. Office Space was great.
So what you need to do is watch Office Space and then immediately watch the movie Wanted.
Well, that's the Angelina Jolie movie
That's the assassin one.
where she bends the bullets and
Yeah,
shit.
I tried that with Nerf darts. Like after watching that, you would see me in my backyard with Nerf darts, just trying to fucking.
It worked out, did it? Except for that one time,
I never watched the Angelina Jolie movie.
Wanted was pretty good. Fight Club also. Chuck Perzinak, out that fucking last name. His books are wild because Jacob got me on reading his books. So I read Snuff.
Oh yeah, Snuff. I know about Snuff. That's a good one.
So Snuff is, not giving it away, it is a porn star that wants her last film, she wants to break the world record for having the most sex with the most people. And there are a whole cast of characters, an old porn star, someone who thinks they're the person's son, and the secretary to the porn star, and it all plays out. It's wild, and like his books are always like, holy shit, that is dark. It, like Fight Club, basically. It's like he takes that and fucking writes so much, along with Stephen King. Like some of his books, like The Longest Walk, is fucking rough to listen to. Stephen King is weird because he gets oddly graphic with children, which maybe look into that. Maybe. Allegedly.
A little bit.
Well,
Allegedly. You can only take art so far.
I don't know if
Free ask
you
questions.
ask old Polanski, he did all right. He fled the country and came back a decade later, and we gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award. So
Well, his wife died. It's sort of like the baby was maybe cut out of her. Came back to like not the best scene.
But he had to flee the country because he got caught with an underage girl in his hot tub and shit, right? And then I want to say, was it like 10 years later, 15 years later? We gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he flew back here and received it. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, man, he's probably got some charges
pending.
pending, but,
Eh,
Alleged.
here's an award.
Epstein and everything else. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
That shit don't matter.
Well, that's
We had old Maxwell for how long, and nobody knows it anymore.
Yep.
Isn't that funny?
It's wild how that works. Wild.
Amazing. Well, Hillary's got her hit list.
Yeah. I wonder. Did Epstein do it? Did he?
Comment.
No, it was wild this year because God, what's his name? Cat Williams interview, the podcast in the beginning, with
Sharp.
Yeah, Club Shay
Shay,
Shay,
yeah.
and then that fucking started a shit store for that, and then the Kendrick Drake beef just sort of added like flame to the fire for all that. It's wild.
Yep.
Like how this year started and how
Everything
it's playing
came out
out.
about Diddy and everything too. So, by the way, you caught that right. We no
What?
longer say no homo. We say no Diddy. You catch that?
I know Diddy's been a bad guy for a long time.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, he
like-
actually influenced popular culture.
Yeah,
Like,
look at the South Park episode.
Well, I tell you what, like I get at them people, like and once you start getting money flowing like that, right? We as human beings, we like doing bad things. It makes us feel like
A lot.
It's taboo
right,
nature.
right? So once you have money like that, right, and you have all those freedom tickets, as I like to call it, right, freedom tickets out the wazoo, right, it makes them want. I mean, I think it drives you to do weird shit, and not condoning it, right? But it's just like I can do anything I want now. What do I do to have fun?
Yeah.
Well, you do things that are taboo
Yeah.
because that's the only thing you get thrills out. You know what I mean?
Hostel was a great movie about that.
Yeah. It's very
It's just chasing the dopamine rush.
but it's been like that forever. I mean, you go as far back in Hollywood as you want, and there's always been like debauchery. And you look at like the shit Charlie Chaplin did, and stories.
Or like
From any
singing
of
in
the-
the rain too.
Yep.
I don't know. I've never.
The main guy from it, he was also the director of Singing in the Rain. I'm trying to remember back to Film as Art because he did like a whole thing for that. But the main cast of the girl, which is also what's her name, Princess Leia, that
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, that's her mom in there. And he just like threw her through the ringer with like how hard dancing was because he was a trained like theater dancer and everything. That's like the lighter side of Hollywood, but it's just like rough. Like
Hell, look up the stories about the girl from Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah.
How badly they treated her and stuff.
Well, I hate that movie. I hate The Wizard of Oz.
never seen it.
Dude, it is like, I guess for the time it was probably great, but the fact that people sit and go, look at this, wonderful masterpiece of a movie, but then when you hear the stories, like the guy who got painted silver, the Tin Man, like he died from the paint that they put all over him, and like the miserable conditions of everybody, and like it was just like I made it a point to kind of go through some of those things while my wife and kids were watching it the other day, hoping they don't want to watch it quite as damn much as they do because it is on regularly at my house. I'm like, oh my God, again with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, even what's his name? Friends with Tarantino, the one that got nailed for jail.
Rodriguez?
No, the director. He always was Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
Like the whole like Weinstein thing that came out, and along with directors having, I think you told me directors having like a separate room with just a couch for starlets. Like
That's couching couch. That's what the couching couch is
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
By the way, was anybody as disturbed as I was when they started to put that hashtag Me Too movement out when everybody from the old days still read that as pound? So it was like pound Me Too.
Oh, yeah.
I never put that together.
You really have it? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So all the older generation reads it still as a pound sign instead of a hashtag. So yeah, it was pound Me Too. So yeah, way to go, marketers of that movement.
And sometimes they drop the ball. Well, there was a thing that was supposed to, like, help your immune system called AIDS before HIV came out. I want to say it was to help your immune system. It was like a vitamin or something. It was supposed to help you. And then HIV came out. And then Imagine you'd be like, damn man, if I didn't pick the wrong fucking name.
Like,
for
holy
something.
shit. It's like the gas station, 7-Eleven, really dodged a bullet. If it happened 2 months earlier.
The thing that upset me about the Harvey Weinstein thing, and now what he did was foul. Correct. Like everybody agrees. Like you should not use your position of power.
I'm going to grab some more ice. Keep talking.
You should not use your position of power to influence the behaviors
people,
in that way. But I also think it's foul for you to give a, what do they call it, quid pro quo like that, right? You do this, I'll do that.
Yep.
And then they do their part, right? He did exactly what he said he would do, right? Like, you look at Rose McGowan, she became a famous actress, all these accolades, right?
Yep.
Well, it's easy after you cashed in on all those things to then go back and be like, that was bad what he did. Mm-hmm. It was like, but you've reaped all the benefits from it. Like, you participated, you are willing... Right? Is that by looking at that?
Are you feeling offended by that? That he's just talking about quid pro quo, and he's been both our bosses, and he never offered us any quid pro quo, you know?
I've been trying to get that promotion. I've been, like, hinting at it, but he's just not biting.
I'm telling you. Well, you know, he was never in a position to do that, but he never offered me.
The problem is Liam keeps biting. That's why he doesn't get the raise.
Apparently, I didn't bite enough.
No, do what I do. Is just the person higher than Robert, just bean dip him.
Well, what I was going to say is if y'all are,
I'm a nuisance at work.
If y'all have ever come to me looking for a raise, y'all are barking up the wrong tree. I've never been that person.
Yeah, so clearly, quid pro quo.
But am I wrong in thinking about that way? About the you know, because nobody's saying it before they're famous. Nobody's like, he wanted me to do this, and I'm not going to take the movie because I'm on my morals. It's like, no, you took the movie. You did it. You took the movie. You made the millions a decade ago, over and over again. And now it's a bad thing. It's like, I don't know, man. What he did isn't any less bad.
No,
but
absolutely not.
You are held accountable as well. You participated.
I mean, the morals always happen after you reap the benefits.
Yeah, right.
Yep. You're never sorry until you get caught. Exactly. At least in, celebrity status there.
Always beg forgiveness.
Yep. All right, Liam, I have to say, I don't think I need another one of these.
It's too late. It's already poured.
I know. I seen him doing it, and I didn't stop him. No. Give it back. It's too late. I done geared myself up for it.
He's a taker backer.
I don't need another one.
Okay.
This is last.
He's
Understood.
a taker backer.
You're cut off.
And the bad thing is, I'm the one that drove him over here.
Yeah, I can't drink and drive. It's not my thing.
Sip and swerve.
Slip and swerve.
That is a joke. For lawyer reasons, that is a joke. Sip and swerve in Minecraft.
Add disclaimer.
Right here.
Oh, man. So, Liam.
What's up?
So, with your podcasting, if you had, like your ideal guest, like who would your ideal guest be right now? Who would you pick? Who would you want to sit and have this conversation with? Parking lot talks.
I mean, the parking lot talks is only for the Kyle and Chase. That's their little section.
We're not cool enough for it? Was our shit like out of the dumpster tapes?
I don't know yet. I usually figure out like
It depends on how the next half hour.
The cutting room floor. The cutting room floor.
We'll see. I usually find like how I name stuff is like while the episode is going on. If I don't have anything beforehand, I usually just like listen through the episode, be like, oh, this is clever.
We did have a little segment about pubic hair, so
yeah,
that don't bowl well for us.
He's gonna call it like Mr. Hands or something. I can see it.
Hentai, family, and old movies with Robert and Andrew.
All rolled into one.
That would definitely like pull in some. That's definitely some clickbait right there.
Yeah, well, somebody.
Your kids come up to you. What's hentai and why's your name attached to it?
I've never watched this shit. I have no idea. No idea.
I just like anime for the story.
Well, what's so funny is all my kids are into anime, right? And they're talking to me about anime, and I like anime, but my anime is a little different. It's not. I don't think it's like anything like what y'all are talking about, the hentai or whatever. But like, I like Ninja Scroll.
Don't let me into it. That's just that's all.
Everybody's distancing themselves. Not me.
No.
I'll own it. Whatever. Yeah.
But like Ninja Scroll and like Vampire Hunter D, like I get it that they're still adult oriented, but they're not very overly. Ninja Scroll a little bit. There's a couple scenes in Ninja Scroll.
Well, yeah, when you fit all.
But it's not tentacle porn.
Yeah.
right?
Not
Dude,
Love Blue Girl or nothing.
yeah, listen. when
XD.
when I worked at the record store, I managed a record store for a few years. When I worked at the record store, like Navy guys would come in, like less than 90% of our business was the Navy guys, and because we were a chain, we didn't sell adult films, but we sold hentai, right? And these are like blacked out cases, like you can't even see what the case looks like. And these guys would come in and easily drop $400 or $500 on one visit just in DVDs because they're expensive too.
It's government paid hentai.
Yeah. Well, it's not like it's like a $10 a movie. They're like $30 and $40 a piece, and they'd come up to the counter with stacks of 15, 20 of them any given time, and didn't know much about them. And I was talking to one guy about it, and he was like, "If you want to watch one, you want to watch La Blue Girl. That's the one. That's like the mecca of these things. This is what everybody."
It's the most deprived.
That one, or I think the other one was Demon Warrior Kyoji or something like that, right? And so I watched La Blue Girl. Well, I watched La Blue Girl, and I made like 30 minutes into it. I got 2 scenes through, right? Like the scenes that I guess everybody watches it for. And I was like, I don't dig this. This isn't for me at all. Like, number one, anything really turns my stomach.
Yeah, I was about to say, he can't sit through Don't Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah. So, like, anything really turns my stomach. So then when you're, like, with, like, lots of penises, definitely, like, way over the top for me, right? So then, like, one day we had to put the DVDs in the sleeves, right? So you couldn't see them before we put them in, like, the steel-proof case, right?
Yeah.
And it was a live-action La Blue Girl somebody had made, right?
God.
And I'm like, they are doing this specifically for people in this situation. Because there's no way anybody really wants to watch this.
It's not a big niche, but there is a market for it.
Dude, it's sold for $50.
It is a market that people pay heavily for.
Yeah,
it's the internet. Dude, look at feet pics. People are like paying for college off of just pictures of a foot.
Or farts.
Or that too.
Yeah.
Bella Delphine sold her bathwater. Like Amaranth sold her farts. Is selling like beer made with like juice from that censored area.
This I might get grief over saying, but it blows my mind that like you hear women talk about it's not equal workforce, not equal pay, right? When it comes to like politicians and jobs of bosses and being like leaders of shit, but you never hear them saying, "Where's the equal opportunities for men farting in jars and selling it online?" Right? Like there's nobody complains about the equal opportunity going the other way. Nobody's buying your bathwater, Liam.
I take showers.
But you know what I mean? Like it's just it's mind-boggling. It's like, no, if I were you, I'd shut up and I would take the privilege I got out of the situation. Speaking of privilege, I wanted to bring this up on this conversation because this gets brought up a lot. People talk about different privileges and white privilege, and I am not a wealthy white person, so I don't think I've had a lot of privilege when it comes to things like that. But I've had the benefit of having friends who have massive disposable incomes at times, and so I've been asked, right, like when all the I don't know when the right time frame was for it, but white privilege was a big conversation. Is it still a big conversation?
2016, and it's sort of fading now.
Okay.
Around
it is a thing. It absolutely is a thing, and I have witnessed it. And being a poor white trash person, like facading as somebody with money at one time, I seen it. So, me and Andrew, we were having a long night, as we so often do, because he works out of town. He only comes into town every once in a while. So when we get together, we make up lost time. Yeah. Right. And 3, 4 o'clock mornings, heavily drunk, are fairly normal for our going outs.
Very much so.
like massively inebriated. And one night, I don't even know what we were doing, because we weren't going towards your house and we weren't going towards my house. We were going the opposite way from where either one of us lived or we would be going to party. Yeah. So I don't know what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
But drunk as all get out. We're in a lime green Challenger, right?
That was yellow.
I mean, canary yellow. Could not be any brighter. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and we hit a DUI checkpoint. I look at Andrew as we're pulling up, and I go, "You're going to jail." Like, I'm walking home, but you're going to jail. Like, there is no way we're getting through this, right? Like, we're just emitting liquor through our pores, right? We stink. So we pull up, cop knocks on the window, asks us to roll it down. Andrew rolls it down. Cop says, "How y'all boys doing this evening?" His words, I'll let you say it because it's your line.
I hand him my license and I say, "I'm living the American dream."
The cop doesn't even look at his license. He hands it back to Andrew and says, "Y'all boys have a great evening," and proceeds to let us drive on. Dude, there is no way.
I would say that isn't white privilege. That is knowing your audience.
Dude, he was just...
Dude,
I don't...
where we were at, we were off Myers Road in Goose Creek.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, that was a spot you'd probably think you're going to grab some people for doing bad things. Like, if there was ever a time that I ever felt like the privilege had been laid upon us, it was that moment. And I know we were both shocked. It was just like, that was amazing. Like, I can't believe. So, if anybody's listening, what I would suggest do is next time you go through a DUI checkpoint and you're worried, just tell them you're living your dream, man.
Living the American dream.
No, the main point was the American dream.
If you'd have told him you're living like the North Korea dream or something, we'd have probably been beaten.
It's so mind-boggling, and that is something I think about all the time. All the time. That like that could have been life-changing for both of us, right? That could have been very bad. We both could have lost jobs and like all kinds of like it could have been just the beginning of the snowball of a lot of ill things to happen in our lives. And it was just
Thank you, America.
yeah, very
America.
and as we and you know, maybe my brain I think he cut a wheel when we peeled out. I think there was a little when we left. when we left the cops.
Just a little salt on the wound.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
You have to like play up the bit. It's like you can't be an American without doing a burnout.
I wish I could confirm or deny, but I was inebriated.
It's
So.
like
Maybe it's just my white trash brain thinking of how things should have played out.
it's just the eagle screech of a car.
So
And
wild.
a yellow
Man.
car at that.
Exactly. It's a
Canary
canary in
yellow.
a coal mine.
Could not stand out anymore.
I mean, like,
There's no way he did not know that we were just trashed, man.
he probably didn't want to do the paperwork in complete honesty.
But why else would you fucking be there? That's what he was doing.
It was
That's what he was doing as a DUI checkpoint.
Yeah, you got a checkpoint, but it's like I can do the checkpoint, like allow people through.
In my mind, he looked and said, "These two young white men are just having fun, spending money."
Helping the local economy.
Go keep spending money, young white boy. It was just so weird, man. Very weird. I think about it all the time. Now, I wanted to tell that all here because I feel weird about it.
Come to terms with it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's guilt.
Luckily, I don't own that yellow Challenger anymore.
No, now he's got a fucking, what is that, a purple, what is it?
Blue.
Shh. The cop listens to it.
I just said blue. There's a whole bunch of blue cars now.
It's red. Reddish.
Could have pulled up in the
Blue with a colorblind
in the
person.
military green Renegade.
Yeah, it's a Renegade.
I've never had so many people stare at me when I go to pick up my kids from the kid loop in that damn thing. And it's like, just take my car because he had me blocked in. So I go get in the Renegade. I'm sitting in, and like everybody's staring. I'm just like, it's not that weird of a car. You know what I mean? But man, it definitely attracts eyes.
Oh, no, hold on. So nothing beats when my brother... I had a 4-door Jeep Wrangler. Anybody knows a Wrangler, it's got the spare tire on the back.
Oh, no.
And my brother went to go pick his kids up in it.
From school
And forgot what the cover said.
Oh, God.
So the cover on it has two 9mm back to back. And it says, "I love Jeeps, guns, and titties."
So it's a woman holding two 9mm back to back.
big
Where her
boobs.
9C double C.
Yeah. and he calls me, he's like, "Dude, I kept getting looks and I couldn't figure out why until somebody pointed at it."
Made so many conservatives that day.
Oh, yeah. I told him, I said, "Dude, well, you know, you're half Mexican. You probably made him feel you're like you're white. You know, you were finally accepted."
Nothing flips a ticket like a shirtless bra with an AR-15. Let me get a yee, fellas.
You know this.
Oh, my baby is here. He go. was a good time, Liam.
So there was one story I was told to ask you about.
Oh, God. What did you tell him?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
So it involves Canada.
Oh, Loonies and Toonies at the strip club. Oh. Loonies and Toonies at the strip club.
Okay, so I have a travel job. So, and it's been about 7 years since I've been up there, so I can't confirm if they still do this anymore. So, when I went up there, miserable, by the way. Beautiful country, but God, it's miserable up there. You can't get mashed potatoes at the KFC.
Oh, God.
You can get poutine, which is, fries and gravy.
Yeah.
But you can't get mashed potatoes. So
Fries and gravies come with everything, though, right? You order
Yeah.
pizza, you get fries and gravies.
well,
with
you
your pizza.
have to order it with it. It's just it's the most common size.
It's like chips over here.
basically.
Weird.
Basically.
Well,
So
it's Canada, they don't have their mouth moves.
yeah, floppy. Yeah, floppy, exactly. So, and I also learned that they hate South Park for that, FYI.
Does South Park care? No.
So anyway, when I got up there, I'm working on the railroad, and I'm working with a couple Canadian guys. And when I first got paper money up there, they only have $5 increments and up. That is paper. Everything else is coins.
Yeah.
So I proceeded to ask the question, when you go to the strip club, how do you make it rain up there? Because, typically in America, it's ones or twos. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you cannot just be throwing coins at these chicks. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. So they proceeded to tell me about the poster trick. What the hell is the poster trick? What am I about to get myself into? And I'm a guy who watched the Two Girls, One Cup and didn't flinch.
Gross.
I watched the whole
My
thing.
stomach turned just thinking about it.
And could
Damn
still
it,
eat
Andrew.
ice cream afterwards.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm like, what the hell am I about to get myself into? So they proceed to tell me, if you want to make it rain for them, I can't remember the exact verbiage you use, but they don't call it rain up there. But they will bring out a poster of themselves and sign it, and then proceed to put it in cone form and hold it up to a certain orifice of body. And they try to get people to agree to bid on it, basically. And not bidding on it, you get 2 or 3 guys together and you take turns trying to Kobe it. The loonies and the toonies, and whoever lands the most coinage in a certain orifice gets a kiss, a lap dance, and the poster.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
A lot different than American
And you
strip
might
clubs.
be asking how you know the difference is you actually took a permanent marker and actually put your initials on the coins.
All right.
Yep.
I have a friend in Canada. I might go visit him.
It's interesting, right? It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Like I said, and I don't know, this is strictly in British Columbia. So, that's the Vegas of Canada, apparently.
I mean, you just avoid Quebec. That's it. Like, you just avoid the French Canada, and then it should be fine.
Well, me and Andrew, we have visited a few
Establishments.
establishments over the years, and the one that we really enjoyed isn't there anymore because it got closed down for being a brothel. Psst. Psst. It was a great strip club, okay? That's what we went there for, and it was great at that. That's what it did.
Story is when I picked this club, it had the lowest rating in Myrtle Beach. The absolute tank. And you know what? Afterwards, everybody thanked me for going there.
It was a great time. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun. It was very safe. You know what I mean? Like everything about it was a good time. Mm-hmm. And then we wanted to try to replicate that when we went to Ohio. And we know you're familiar with Ohio, right?
Tiny bit.
So we're in we're going up there for a big festival show.
Yeah, it was in Columbus.
In Columbus. So we find this a club that we thought was comparable to one of the ones that we really enjoyed. And we went there. And it was early in the evening, wasn't really a lot of people there. We never made it in the door because the young lady standing on the side of the building smoking her cigarette in her work attire let us know that is not any place we wanted to be.
Yep. I don't know if she's seen the out-of-state tag on
we were sitting there for a while and we were looking and we were like, you think? Like, man, that's what we're going into. Like, we just should leave. Like, that's not where we want to be.
It's Ohio.
It was rough.
There's a reason why I'm in Ohio 10, but I'm a Charleston 5.
It was, so that one didn't work out.
No.
We wanted it to, but it just didn't work.
Well, neither did the ones in Myrtle Beach either.
Not after our one closed down. No, we didn't like that other one.
Or no, was that Myrtle Beach we went the second time? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same band, just different
Oh, yeah, that's right.
concert. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really expanded much into Myrtle Beach. Like, I was back in Conway, and I went to Boardwalk once. That's about it.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, everybody talks trash about Myrtle Beach, and I don't know if it's from my long lineage of white trash that I just feel at home in those surroundings. But, I mean, I can go there, and I can have a good time from sunup to sundown. There's always something to do. There's certain times of the year I would never go during any bike week.
Yeah.
Like, just because it would be a nightmare. But, like, I love Myrtle Beach. Everybody likes to talk shit about it. I love it. But also fairly poor. Trying to facilitate a good time for a bunch of other people under my pouredness.
Poor umbrella.
Right? You know, poor umbrella. So, like, it works out well for us, you know.
I feel like
we
that
enjoy
should
it.
be a shirt. I'm going to get you one that says, like, Poor Umbrella.
Poor umbrella.
I'm going to get Rico to do the artwork.
There was a shirt I wanted to get a long time ago. It says, "I'm ringleader of the shit show," and it was just like the weirdest like circus kind of a thing on it.
Well,
and I wanted it bad because that's I definitely feel like that is my life from time to time.
Well, it's like my best, longest buddy in the whole world, Donnie. He runs a thrift store.
He should be working with us right now, by the way.
Yeah, well, he blew an interview, but anyway. He runs a thrift store, and we had my other buddy, Rico, come up with artwork. We call him King Thrift. And so anytime he calls to vent about this thrift store, we call it Tales from the Thrift.
Dude, those are great stories for the
my
podcast.
God.
Yeah, I talked to him at Top Golf. I'll have him on eventually.
Yeah, dude. He'll tell you, like, he's caught people, like, pleasuring themselves in the thrift store.
On furniture that people bought the same day.
Like
the same day.
Like, dude, he says, like, some of the conversations, he's like, you can't, I never in a million years would have thought I'd have to have this conversation with another human being. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's trippy, man.
Going back to shirts a little bit, your wife loves the Broken Chlamydia shirt.
Yes.
It is wild that, one, she loves it, and two, she wears it everywhere.
All the time. All the time. We were at the gym the other day, and I looked at her, and I'm like, you don't ever feel weird wearing a shirt that says, "I broke my chlamydia" on it? Like, makes me look weird because I'm hanging out with you.
So speaking of your wife and shirts, hold on, let's bring this up.
Oh, shit.
So have you ever figured out what your wife's fascination with midgets are?
No.
So
Nope.
So
Well, she
Been
married
like-
him.
midget. Yeah, but he's a few
Hey, man.
inches taller.
Yeah, I was about to
for
say,
being-
I don't meet the requirements, so I'd be collecting a check right now.
He can still reach the middle shelf. You know, he's not quite the top shelf,
Hey.
but
Yes. Do I have a stool in every room of my house? Yes, I do.
I thought you'd have the T-Rex grabber.
No, I'd had to take it to work.
he's got kids. He's got kids. He can't keep something like that. So anyway, midget wrestling comes.
Yes.
And I'm trying to talk him into going. So he talks to his wife. And the one exception is that he gets a picture with the little wrestling chick. So we go there. And the first thing he's got to do is go fish her out and get a picture with her. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll take the picture. And then he finds out she's got a shirt.
Specific to her.
Yeah.
Like that she sells at the shows,
Yeah,
right?
so he had to hunt her down and get that shirt specifically for his wife. Which is funny because I also took the stinky pinky on that episode.
Oh my gosh.
too.
So
I mean, I have a dwarf wrestling shirt also.
Yeah.
he's seen the same girl. He's seen Pinky Short Stack.
Okay.
She was
Yeah.
one of the wrestlers there.
So yeah, so I paid to get a Bronco Buster from her after a night of wrestling.
No. So let's dive into that a little bit. What kind of depraved person goes, I've just watched this little person run around this ring, and now take it. Her running from side to side of the ring is like you running from side to side like 4 times, right? Because she don't have no stride, right? Little steps, right? So she's working, right? And then I guess you know what a Bronco Buster is, right? Mm-hmm. He gets one from her after she's worked for like 3 hours. I mean, the piece of fabric separating them might be 2 inches wide by 3 inches. I mean, it's the tiniest little piece of fabric. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, That's kind of like,
I was supporting the cause.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
You know, that's like, it's like donating to the 700 Club.
The only thing, I think the only thing that could have made it better is if you'd have got up and you'd have raised your hand in victory and then gave a couple.
I couldn't do that to her, man.
Robert, you have had experience with dwarf wrestling, being a dwarf wrestler yourself, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Dude,
He lost a fight to an oar one day.
Yeah.
that was bad. So
battle.
we had a bachelor party night of just stupidness, right?
Debauchery.
Stream, and then it is a night we think that I got roofied. Like I went out and partied many times.
Claims.
Have you ever seen me act like that?
No, but I don't ever rule it out.
Never. But we've also partied together for 15 years. I've never
Yeah, you
blacked
got a
out
point.
drunk. I've never done. And dude, like we literally showed up to the club and I couldn't count my money. So I'm like,
So
dude.
he walks into the club and goes to pull his cover charge out, pulls one out, and his entire stash of ones just go everywhere.
Right, because I went and got a bunch of ones because we
Yeah.
were going to the club, right?
So I had to step in, push him to the side, and hand her my credit card.
But that's what makes me think. Like, did we pregame before we went to the club? Yes. But did I pregame so much that I was blackout drunk before the night even started? No. I took somebody who was of questionable backgrounds, and and I think he roofied me. I think he thought it would be fun, right?
Just watched Hangover.
I mean, I literally, but like, I don't remember being there. Like,
After Hangover 2, so yeah.
I don't remember being there more than 10 minutes. And then, like, the next thing I remember is waking up at the hotel room, right?
Covered
Now-
in vomit.
Yep, still had vomit on me, and my ass hurt. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever blacked out.
All right, hold on. Reference this: the cheeks are the what hurt, not the
Well,
hole.
we get there, Andrew. You let that in at the end. But I woke up.
You just slip it in right at the end.
It's kind of what happens. But so I wake up and like severely hungover, severely dehydrated. I just reek of vomit because I'm still wearing it. Like, and my ass hurts a lot. Like a lot. Like every bit of it, all of it hurts. And I'm like, what the fuck happened, you know? And I'm trying to make sense of it. And it's one of those things, man. I just spent the night in a room with like 15 dudes. A couple of questionable backgrounds,
Great times.
right?
Not including me.
Why does my ass hurt? Right? It's troubling, right? So as everybody else starts to meander up and wake up and come to, and they're like, here, this is what we did. And they showed me a video. So we're in Myrtle Beach. So there's these oars on the wall as decorations. So while I'm passed out, laid across the master bed, I'm just eating oar shots to the ass. like massive, like full-blown swings, like everybody giggling. Wah-bah! And I'm not moving. You can tell I am out. Yeah. I am out. And yeah, so I had to be to work like 4 or 5 hours after I woke up that morning. And so I drive home, probably still extremely drunk. I'm from Myrtle Beach to Charleston. I walk in the door, and my wife is like, oh, my God. Like, what happened, right? Because I didn't shower. I didn't change clothes. I just got in the car and had to be home.
Drove.
And she's like, what happened? And then I'm trying to explain to her, I don't know. Don't know what happened. She's like, do you know you have vomit on you? I'm like, yes, I'm aware. I am aware. And she's like, will you go get in the shower before you get into bed? I said, not a problem. And then all the stories came out about like them making me face down on the table, vomiting, not trying to move, and then building a beer can dam around my head so the vomit doesn't spill onto the floor.
Yeah, so all you would see is head down like he's sleeping, and then all you would hear is and then you would see it flowing out from underneath his arms. So to make sure we don't get kicked out, my brother took it upon himself to build a wall from Game of Thrones.
A beer can
wall
to block the vomit from hitting the strip club floor.
Exactly. And it worked for about an hour and a half.
So think about how good my friends are. I'm like drowning in vomit on the table. Way more tore up than they've ever seen me. In all the years that we've hung out, nobody cares. They're having a good time. Don't get us kicked out, Robert. So then I think there's a video or a picture of me, like, back on a roll-around cooler, like, backwards, like, turned inside out on a roll-away cooler in the parking lot. And then somebody told me the next day that we didn't know.
Well, that was the second bachelor party.
No, because I made it to the Dirty Myrtle webpage. That's what they were telling us.
That's right.
They were saying that there was some webpage for people like out-of-towners who get tore up, and they post like pictures and shame.
What not to do.
Yeah, and it's called the Dirty Myrtle. And some random person was like, "We seen you on the Dirty Myrtle website or whatever."
Yeah.
And we never could find it. I never could find the picture of me annihilated.
On a roll-around cooler.
On a roll-around cooler.
Yeah.
And they charged Todd $200.
That's what I'm about to say. We Ubered back, and because he heaved a little bit, they charged...
I gurgled.
Yeah. They charged my brother a $200 cleaning service.
Uber was not messing around with that.
Oh, hell no. Not at all.
But look, in all the times we've ever hung out, that was the only time you've ever seen me like that.
That's true. You only got one story about me, so that.
And then we went on some tears.
Oh God, have we ever?
We went on some tears. Like there was a time that we could go out, and I'm not taking credit for any of this. It's not what I'm doing.
He is older, so peer pressure.
But we would go out, and we could like roll out like between like 6 or 7 guys. We'd pay $1,000 to tab out at the restaurant when we left, and we barely ate.
Holy shit.
And we barely ate.
Oh, yeah.
That was like what we did. We'd
That
go
white privilege night. That was at a Texas Roadhouse.
yeah.
And we were doing donuts out in the parking lot before we sped out.
Yeah. Calling friends who we hadn't talked to in years at 3 o'clock in the morning, talking shit to them.
Up.
Where are you at? You're not doing this? Dude, it was so bad.
I'm telling you, dude.
So bad.
And the bad thing was, it was only a V6. It wasn't even the V8 Hemi I got.
We're not like out hot rodding.
Yeah,
we're like
exactly.
stock, just cutting donuts in the bar.
Brady bunching it out in the parking lot.
I mean, if it's the Texas Roadhouse I'm thinking of, they have a pretty good party.
Oh, it's great. North Charleston.
Yeah,
right there. Now it's the T-Mobile, but that's back when it was, ex-Kmart.
Yeah.
So,
God.
Yeah, we always called our old our old friend, the one that got me the job at GameStop, and we'd always call him because he was like, it's actually how we ended up meeting each other,
Yeah.
And never would come out, never would hang out, and now I think he's sober, right?
Yep.
And now we can't do that anymore. We can't call him on trash nights.
Although I did that last time I was home.
So foul. It's so foul.
He's posting on Facebook. He's like 60, 80 days sober, and I'm calling him
Andrew's
like,
I'm fucked up. Where you at, pussy?
exactly. It shows you what good for a night am.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the stories, man. The absolute worst.
We have, like, really funny ones.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, every one that I'm sitting there thinking about, like, trying to bring up, I'm like, man, my kids want to listen to the podcast. And I can't stop them from finding it because they know you, Liam.
Yeah.
So they know where it's at.
Although, your kids have already told me my hobby was drinking beer anyway.
Well, they've known you their whole lives, Andrew.
Very much so.
Oh, my kids will hurt your feelings.
Oh, yeah. Like Donnie's feelings.
Oh, poor Donnie, man.
What happened with Donnie?
We had a barbecue, and Andrew made cocktail weenies in the barbecue sauce in the crock pot, like you do at a barbecue, right? Like it's nothing out of. So as a joke, we told my kids that they were little Donnies. That's what they were called. They were called little Donnies. So now, 12 years later, we go to barbecues and my kids will go, "Can I have some little Donnies?" And we've never corrected them.
It's haunted them.
We just let it go, man. They're little Donnies. That's what they are.
Oh yeah.
Donnie has a single tear every time.
Every time it's like the Indian, with the trash.
Well, it's like, we're not going to tell Donnie about this, right?
No.
All right, so, man, the greatest, since we were talking about Myrtle Beach and strip clubs and funny stories, man.
Oh, God.
Donnie's bachelor party was one of the greatest things ever, man. Oh. So, like, we go to this club that we were talking about earlier that, like, they closed down for debauchery, right? Like, they were definitely letting us get away with shit, right? Yeah. And Andrew was very much just shelling out money. Like he basically walked into the club, started throwing money around. We walked in.
So right when we get in, we go to sit by the bar or by the stage, and they're like, "This is VIP only. How much is it?" They tell me, "Here you go. Get out of here."
Yeah.
And so instantly, everybody already hated us.
Yeah.
So immediately, like the runway ends at us. So when the girls would hit the runway, they wouldn't stay on the long strip. They would run straight to the end.
Yep.
Because we were the
VIPs,
we were, like,
yeah.
So like they would like shit on everybody else, and they come sit with us, right? So automatically that was bad. And then Andrew's like, well, we're gonna have private dances and stuff. Like we want a room. Like we don't want to be in the bullpen with everybody. We want a room. So they gave us a room for us to go have our dances in, right? Mm-hmm. And then Andrew's like, which one of your girls here is like the roughest girl? Which one's rough, right?
So initially, I wanted to put them up on stage. So once upon a time, we had the Southern Belle here. And you could pay to put somebody on stage. They'd strip you down, spank you, blah, blah, blah.
God, I wish that was happening nowadays.
Yeah.
That was so funny with some of my friends.
So I was talking to the manager. And the manager's like, well, look, we don't do that anymore. But, you guys already have the room. If you want, I'll send the girl in there. She'll give them a private dance.
Everybody can go in and watch.
Yeah. So I'm like,
and we'll give them a special dance.
I'm like, okay. So I'm like, listen, my boy likes it rough. So send the biggest, beefiest, butchest like stripper you got.
Send him Bertha.
Basically.
But this is what was so funny, man.
Oh, so she is. I mean, when she comes up, she is smoking hot.
She's nothing like that.
Yeah.
She's like 5 foot tall, very stacked and muscular, but come in sweatpants and a t-shirt and a duffel bag. That's what the fuck she got. And she walks into the room.
So I get up and I go start talking to her, and she's like, "What's off limits?" I pull out my wallet, hand her extra 20. I said, "Nothing's off limits." She's okay. And so our buddy Chase coined the phrase pelvis power.
So it starts out. They take his shirt off. He's in his underwear. Mm-hmm. They got him in the dog position, right? He's hands and knees, and she's flogging him harder than I've ever seen. I'm talking about full steam, full wind up, wow, going across his back. He's screaming like a girl, like flattening out, like all limbs shooting out. and then she would stand it back up and then get it again. Wham. So after a little bit of that, she does this thing where she gets like down like a dog in front of him, and she puts her feet on his shoulders, and then she lifts her knees up off the ground. So now her rear end and his face are like maybe 8 inches apart, 10 inches apart, and she commences to throwing her ass back at his face.
And bloodied his nose.
Dude, like about the 3rd time, he screams, "Help!" About the 5th time, we see blood. Like she's got blood on her ass cheeks. He's got blood, and we never stop it.
No,
like we just let it. We're just laughing, let it happen. And now this dude's getting married in 2 days. Yeah. Like whatever happens to him, these signs will be on him in 2 days. And we watch him like literally get the shit kicked out of him for 20 minutes by an extremely attractive, like 5 foot tall woman. And that sucks. Nothing sucks more than you think you're masculine to man, then you have a little tiny girl just work one over on you, right?
Yeah.
Like that's very emasculating and shit, right?
She had a therapy session y'all just gave her.
Oh, she was happy. She looked so happy.
Ecstatic.
And then like the rest of the evening, Donnie looked out of sorts. Like he did.
Oh yeah. If one of us would get up and disappear, his honeying eyes would go instantly. Dude, we called him the Don Predator eyes.
It was so funny. So funny.
But karma got him in the form of a tag shot from Todd.
Oh my God. I paid for that shit for a long time, man. So
we did 2 nights up there.
Mm-hmm. So the first day, it's all fun and games, right? Like, we're drinking and shit, and then we go out to the club. But while we're drinking and stuff, like, I've never been much for like the ring game like you play all the time, or the sack tap game. Like those aren't my games. I don't do that shit. His brother must love it or something, because he caught me like 3 times on day 1. Like one time he went to hand me a beer about a foot away from my waist. When I went to grab it, let it go, just clean shot, right? Yeah. So, like, I took like 3 good shots day 1.
The third one was the best.
No, this is day 2.
Oh, was it day 2?
This is after we were hungover and we went to
right.
go get breakfast.
That's right. So we pack in. I have a Dodge Durango at the time that's got like the 3rd row seating.
So I'm the smallest guy on in our friend group,
Yep.
right? So I'm always gonna be in the back bitch seat. Like it's always gonna be me because I'm just small, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of I get it, and so Todd was to my left, and like he's on driver's side. I'm in the middle back, and then the passenger side opens up. So I'm going to get out. So I stand up, and I'm going to walk, and he commences to slap me across my ass. Well, the way I was positioned, my nuts were all like pooped straight to the back. You
You're Buffalo Bill in that shit.
Yeah, correct. Like not by design. It's just getting out of the car. That's the way I was set up. So I took like a really hard nut shot against nothing but thighs and hand. Right. That's like it hurt. Like I literally stepped out of the car and laid belly down on the asphalt and was just laying there like,
We're all like, what the hell?
So dude, like that sucked and it hurt like all day. It hurt the next day. Like it was a brutal shot I took to my balls. But so like for months, if me and my wife were getting ready to have sexy time and I were to get aroused, my shit would hurt immediately. Like I'd be like, oh, ooh, and it would feel like I got kicked again for months later.
You
Months.
Thank Todd for that. That's why there's not a 7
No,
oil right now.
I'm pretty sure that was still one. That was
It would be cheaper
Wilder.
by the dozen at this point.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I that.
But yeah, like it was insane. Like those bachelor parties, man. So
We had 2 within about almost exactly a year apart,
yeah,
and they were phenomenal.
And the second one, we had a guy named Matt come with us, and you know we were talking about Jello shots. We're like, hey, somebody make some Jello shots. So he makes a handle of Jello shots.
Well, when you make Jello shots, if you're going to use a bottle, you're going to make at least 100, 150 shots, depending on how
made
thick
like
you make them. You know.
250.
Yeah, he
So-
had a cooler that was 100% Jello shots.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah. So like midway through the second day, dude, I swear to you, I was shitting like Jello. like they were multicolored Skittle shits from the Jello shots.
Taste the rainbow.
And like I'm walking out and I'm looking at, I think I was looking at you and Todd, and I'm like, dude, I can't do any more Jello shots. Like there's no room. Like I'm 50% Jello right now. This is coming from a fat guy. I'm already Jello anyway.
Well, like another thing we didn't talk about with that one is when we went. I have a point when I go to a bachelor party or a bachelorette party or bachelor party. I don't ever.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold up now.
No, we've been to one. We went to one. Connor's was bachelorette party. Remember?
I was drunk, dude.
Yeah, but remember his mom was there,
Oh,
his
yeah,
wife
yeah.
was there, her sister was
That's
there.
when your buddy thought I was going to kill him.
And, yeah, Elliot thought you were trying to kill him, and I was trying to tell you not to sleep with Connor's sister.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Because I was like, no, dude. You're like, I think I can. I was like, I'm pretty sure you can. But don't. Like his mom, dad, brothers, everybody's here, man. There's a lot of room for mistaken bullshit,
Yeah.
right? But so I have this thing where like I want to buy a really inappropriate joke, whether it's a
gift.
a gift, right? Whether it's a pocket anus or a blow up doll. I just think it's right,
Oh,
right?
I know
Like
where you're
like
going with
you're
this.
not getting any more. You're married now,
Yeah.
so here's something for you, something for you to use for the future, right? And it's all a joke, right? But I do it. I've done it like 10 times already. So what I do, so we're going to Myrtle Beach, and I'm like, man, there's got to be an adult store before we get to the hotel. So like we're Googling, I find one. I was like, pull in here, and it was an old lady working at it, which was kind of weird. But she knew a lot about everything that she sold. Oh, my husband loves this, and then would tell us how they clean it and shit. Like it was,
God.
yeah, it was like a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I find this really cheesy blow up doll. Like, I mean, just what you would think of the cheesiest blow up doll imaginable, right? And I was like, that's it. That's what we're getting. So we get to the room, and I'm like, I'm just gonna blow it up and like throw it on the couch, right? And while we're all drinking, she can just kind of float around, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like she was getting on everybody's nerves and getting in the way because there was a lot of us and we're all trying to sit in the room. And so I decided, I was like, well, I'm going to hang her from the ceiling fan. You know how the ceiling fan has the little nugget that hangs down that you turn it on? So I put her mouth over that little nugget, right? So she's hanging from her mouth on the ball on the ceiling fan.
And as the fan is blowing, she's spinning.
Yeah. So, and the way her body is positioned, it's not like she's like a stick figure, like everything is pointed down.
Yeah, she's
like both arms are down. One leg is in front of her, like she's karate kicking, and then one knee is bent up. So it looks like she's like Bruce Lee air kicking, right? And then she's hanging from the ceiling fan, spinning very slowly with this karate kick going on. And we just think it's funny. We go out, we have a good time, we come back to the room, we wake up, and we find a note on our door from housekeeping talking about how they will not clean our room. I can't remember the exact words that they said.
It was somewhere along those lines.
It was, they didn't feel comfortable even entering our room.
Yeah.
And it's in Myrtle Beach, so that says a lot.
That says a lot,
yeah.
man. But I couldn't imagine being a little lady and you're fucking cleaning hotel rooms and you open a door and there's a chick
Blow up
hanging
doll.
from the ceiling.
And it was
fan.
an autonomically correct blow up doll.
It was very funny. It was very funny.
detailed.
Very
Oh, yeah.
detailed.
And-
Who
No,
left that?
it stayed there.
We just left it.
Yeah, we left it because nobody would take it. I think it came down to me or Matt, but we were like, we're not going to take it, and then we left. And he called me or he texted me on the way, and he's like, "Hey, did you take that?" And I'm like, "No, I thought you did." So
So
somebody
we
got a
just
free
left
blow
it in the
doll,
room.
yeah.
You know, they just popped it and threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was a,
Maybe.
but then when we did Connor's, right? Like, my wife made the wedding cake for Connor's wedding, and they didn't want to spend a bunch of money. My wife's like, I could make them a really simple cake. It's not a problem, you know? And so it was like, we stop at the adult store, and I buy it's a pocket anus, right? Isn't that what it was?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was a pocket anus, right? It wasn't even a vagina. It was just an anus. But I thought I added to the humor in it, right? So, and then we pull up, and the moment we pull up at Connor's house, like this team of guys comes running out the house wanting to fight us. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck's going on?
that was what, me, you, and Matt?
Elliot, it was me, you, and Elliot.
That's what it was, yeah.
It
That's
was
right.
Elliot. And I'm like, no, man, I just got the cake. And then they passed out hugs and shit, and like everything was cool. And Connor was a country boy, and Andrew's got a line where he can get like legit moonshine,
Yeah, this is like Tennessee Firewater.
like legit moonshine, right?
180 proof.
Good shit.
So I asked
180
him,
proof.
I was like, look, man, that's what I want for a wedding gift for Connor, right? It'd be something special that
I
he
brought
can.
him a quart.
So I hand him the mason jar of moonshine. He unscrews the cap and drinks it like it's fucking water in his
This is
driveway.
180 proof.
I mean, he's like, at least 4 or 5 good swallows out of it, right? And I'm like, holy cow. So we go out, and he gets tore up, and like, we end up babysitting him a little bit. He's throwing up on himself, and
Didn't he pee in the parking lot or something?
he peed on the side of Folly Road
That's what he did.
while
yeah.
cars were driving. Like, cars drove right past him. He had a beard full of vomit, dick out, peeing on the side of Folly Road. And then we couldn't tell him anything. Like, we were trying to get people to quit giving him drinks. But his mom and dad and soon-to-be wife was there, and they're like, no, let him have it.
Yep,
And it's like, no,
have the fun.
right? And then the guy that I brought with me and Andrew, Elliot, he kind of wussied out and
Right.
was...
So, just for some context here, when I get drunk, there's no stopping me. I become life of the party. Hey, if you're at the bar, you're going to get a free shot.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. So just a preference.
So Andrew's just passing out shots to everybody.
My
Right.
bar tab that night was like $500.
Like 10 to 15 to like just everybody who's like in our circle. Whoever's talking to us, everybody gets a shot. So Elliot tells one of our coworkers, the big guy that we talk about all the time, tells him, this motherfucker's trying to kill me. So then Zach gets mad at Andrew. Like, Andrew's doing something wrong. And I'm trying to explain to Zach. I'm like, no, Andrew's being a good dude. Ellie's being a bitch. Calm down, right? Like, you're not looking at this right. And then, so we, long story short, like, it gets really weird. They all leave us once, and then we follow them to where they go, and then within minutes of being there, they leave us again. I'm like, fuck it, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to keep chasing y'all.
Oh, yeah.
And we leave, and we drop Elliot off, and Elliot's more annihilated than I've ever seen him be. You drop me off, and the next morning I wake up, and my wife's like, hey, what is this I found on the counter? It was the pocket anus I had bought for Connor, but nobody wanted it, and we were never in a place that I could give it to him. Like,
Yeah.
because we literally, like, went straight from dropping the cake off to the bar, and it was just kind of
we
weird.
were bar hopping after that.
Yeah, so it was like I never had a chance to give it to him, and then I took it home, and I guess in me being fucked up, I just kind of threw it on the kitchen counter.
Yep.
And went to bed.
Yeah.
But I have kids. So my wife was like, "What are you thinking? Like, you can't do this."
Pencil holder.
Well, I don't think any of them seen it. I don't think it was like I just left it out in the open. I think it was kind
probably
of
too early too. So.
But it was very sad.
All right, hold on. We got to tell one more story. The Matt story, from where you found the vomit underneath your couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. I'll let you tell it.
Well, you have to fill in.
I'll do when you're not around anymore.
Yeah, there you go. So I call him and say, "Hey, let's go out for some drinks." As most good stories always start off with, it's only supposed to be a couple drinks. He's like,
which is how they always start out too.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, well, hey, I got my brother-in-law with me. I'm like, bring him. No big deal. Matt had really never experienced the alcohol plunge with me.
Yeah.
You got the polar bear plunge, you got the alcohol plunge.
Matt is a very conservative, fitness-oriented.
Oh yeah, he's built like a
Health freak.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he's built like a shit.
Now he'll
brick
cut
house.
up and have a good time. Like he's not that much.
Yeah.
But on normal, he's very.
Ironically,
conscious
this is the duck fart night.
Is it the duck fart?
Yeah, because remember he didn't have his ID.
Oh, that's right. We couldn't go anywhere downtown because
Yeah,
the dumbass
so-
left his ID at the house.
So I'm like, screw it, bring it. And Matt's built like a shit brick.
He's
house,
really
dude.
like
yeah,
he's muscular.
I mean, you'd
dude.
think he's a bouncer or something.
Yeah.
And, my little pudgy ass. Okay, whatever. So we go to the barbecue joint and we start in on it, and it continues. Then we bar hop a couple places, and then a buddy of his was playing a venue downtown. So we're like, well, fuck it, let's go downtown. So we go downtown, try to get
Jake's brother, Jacob Kent's
Okay, there
brother,
you go, yeah.
our boss's brother.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's a small world.
Yeah, exactly. So we go downtown, and he doesn't have his ID on him, so we can't get into this venue. So all right, fuck it, whatever. So we go to another bar and close out the night there. About halfway through this final bar visit, he looks at me, he's like, dude, don't give him any more. What do you mean? He's like, he's done. Do not give him.
Well, you have to be very firm with Andrew. Like, there's like, haha, I don't want any more. And then there's fucking stop, right? Like this is the fucking stop moment.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need any more. Do not give him another drink.
So he gets up to go to the bathroom. He comes back, and before he got back, convinced Matt, hey, take this final shot. Shot of Grand Marnier.
Yeah, what could turn your stomach even more on a night of drinking than a shot of grandma at the end of the night?
Oh, God.
So he takes it, and I see his cheeks bow out, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Projectile vomiting in 3, and then go back in. Okay, cool.
Hey, he choked it back. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm done too. So we tab out. Like I said, I take them back to his house because that's my MO. I make sure he gets through the door. So make sure they get through the door. I take off. I wake up the next morning to a text that says, God damn it, Andrew.
So Matt's sleeping on my couch. I got a bunch of kids. All the rooms are taken. My rule is, you come to my house to visit, that's fine. My kids ain't leaving their bed. That's their bed. We'll find you a place to sleep. You'll be comfortable, but you're not taking my kids to bed. It's not. I don't think that's cool, right? So we got him a nice spot on the couch, is made up and shit, and he like lays down like he's going to bed, and I'm like, I'm not going to bed yet. Like I'm a night owl anyways. I'm a little juiced up, feeling good, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay up a little bit. So I'm sitting there looking at my phone. The lights are out, and I hear splat, 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 splat. Fuck, man. I cut the light on, I look, and he's just kind of leaned over the couch, just throwing up on the floor by my couch, right? So it's a nice puddle. I'm drunk, right? I clean it up. Clean it up real good, get him tucked back into bed. I go to bed. Send him home the next day. It's like 2-3 days later. Like, what the fuck is that smell in the house? Dude, that shit had puddled so deep under my couch. And I didn't catch it. Like, I thought I got it all, but in my drunkenness, I just didn't, and missed some things. And it was getting a little putrid under my couch.
Yep.
Dude, it was
Fermented.
But we've gotten Matt like that a handful of times.
Yeah.
We've gotten Matt pretty annihilated a couple times. I think a funny time.
Oh, boy.
I want to say it might be that same evening. Is that the night we did like the escape room and all that shit?
No, because we went with Matt was there, but you had your one buddy there.
Jake.
Yeah.
And that's our boss's brother.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So Jake was there. Yeah.
So we have this night, right, where we go and we're trying to figure out something to do. And like we try not to just go out and drink. We go to a restaurant. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to go and drink. So we're like, let's go do an escape room. But let's pregame. Let's go drink first, right? So the escape room fails miserably. We're toasted up. We go to the next place and we're sitting there hanging out. And one of our mutual friends is like, hey, we have some other friends coming over to hang out.
This is at Wild Wing Cafe.
Yeah, Wild Wing Cafe in North Charleston. And we're all sitting there. And an old friend of mine, like from high school and stuff, hadn't seen him in a long time. Not a bad dude. I choose not to be around him for very obvious reasons nowadays, right? So he walks up and just throws an 8-ball of cocaine in the middle of the table, middle of the restaurant. Like everybody's sitting around, waitress standing right there. I don't know if you know how big an 8-ball is. It's a nice bundle of drugs he throws in the middle of the table. And immediately Andrew starts shaking. Andrew won't look at it. He's like, And I'm like, look, Andrew, like, you like to be big swinging D and go out and buy everybody drinks. It's like what he just did is one of those moves.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to participate in it.
Yeah. Like
Just don't touch it. Like, just like leave it where it sits, and you're all right, man. Like nobody's gonna say anything, you know. But that was one of those weird nights where it just kept getting weirder,
Progressive,
deeper,
yeah.
and it was like, oh, let's bail. Like I don't know how much better this is gonna get.
Yeah. This can't end well.
You know what though? Wild Wings in North Charleston. I'm glad it's closed down because that has been the backbone of a lot of our shit nights.
Oh yeah. To say the least. So.
Well, on that note, for great stories, it's also getting really hot in here. Thank you guys for joining. Love the stories and tales of debauchery.
Tales of debauchery.
Shalom.
Thank you for tuning in to Duff's Tavern. Link to everything else, TikTok, Instagram. Go buy a shirt. His wife loves the shirt. He loves the shirt.
I love the shirt. I normally have one on, but I don't have one on today.
Hope you guys enjoy and have a good one.